Rich Thomason. As Israel continues laying the groundwork for sending troops into Gaza, President Biden is urging the Jewish state not to occupy the territory.
The president has been steadfast in his support of Israel since the surprise Hamas attack more than a week ago. He has denounced the terrorists and supported Israel's right to defend. But Mr. Biden told CBS's 60 Minutes that it would be a big mistake if Israeli troops occupied Gaza. He also called on Israel, Egypt, and other nations to allow for humanitarian aid and supplies into the worsening conflict zone. Greg Clugston, Washington.
FBI Director Christopher Wray says domestic threats have been on the rise since the Hamas attack on Israel. Wray is urging law enforcement to be especially vigilant going forward. He's especially concerned about possible lone wolf attacks. Wray addressed the International Association of Chiefs of Police conference in San Diego over the weekend. It's Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection for a major pharmacy chain.
In making the announcement Sunday, drugstore giant Rite Aid says it obtained $3.45 billion in fresh financing, carrying out a restructuring plan while coping with falling sales and opioid-related lawsuits. Rite Aid said it would also close underperforming stores. Rite Aid, which owns Bartell Drug, is among the companies that has faced lawsuits over the opioid epidemic. The company says the move will allow it to resolve litigation claims in an equitable manner. Rhonda Rockstra reporting.
Will Ohio Republican Jim Jordan capture the 217 votes he needs to be elected Speaker of the House? We expect to find out tomorrow. The House expected to vote on a successor to Kevin McCarthy. House business is on hold pending the election of a new Speaker. And given all of what's going on in the world, there's an added sense of urgency to fill that vacancy. On Wall Street, Dow futures up 198 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Relief factor, pain relief, it's natural pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
Hi, this is Rhett Rasmussen of BestHotGrill.com. We make the amazing Solaire infrared gas grills that are built to last and will consistently deliver better than restaurant grilled food. The Solaire infrared burner heats up to 1,000 degrees in just 3 minutes, even in the dead of winter. The high heat locks in the juices and flavor and grills food faster. Learn more about these fantastic USA-made grills at BestHotGrill.com. Solaire, hot, fast grills at BestHotGrill.com.
Cricket's return to the Olympics has been confirmed after the International Olympic Committee members voted to include it, as well as 4 other sports in the 2028 Games.
There was overwhelming support for the inclusion of cricket in the 2028 Olympics. It's an opportunity for the game to expand in the US market and beyond, while the IOC will welcome the extra viewers and broadcast income from the cricket-mad South Asian subcontinent, especially India. Cricket will be joined by a non-contact form of American football called flag football, both baseball and softball, lacrosse, and after years of frustration in its bid for Olympic recognition, squash has finally made it.
The BBC's Alex Capstick. Kiev officials claim a days-long attempt by Russian forces to storm a strategically important city in eastern Ukraine appears to be running out of steam. Ukrainian forces have repelled 15 Russian attacks from 4 directions over the past 24 hours. Townhall.com. With its entire state legislature hanging in the balance, Virginia, one of only a few states with a crucial election in November. But reporter Anne-Marie Morgan says 250,000 votes have already been cast thanks to new early voting laws.
Virginians can vote absentee by mail or vote at their local registrar's office. Chesterfield resident Barbara Buchanan says voting in person was easy.
It gets you in and gets your vote counted. It's just like voting on voting day. And the more opportunities you have, the less excuses you have. You have more than just the one voting day. So get up and get out and vote.
To learn which candidates are on their ballots, voters should check online at vpap.org. That's vpap.org. I'm Anne-Marie Morgan reporting.
And on Wall Street, the S&P futures up 24 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The tablet said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Monday, everybody. It is, not as exciting necessarily as, Friday.
There's not much on the planet that was as exciting as last Friday.
It was a good Friday. Congratulations.
Can I just say, onward Roswell.
Yeah, congratulations,
onward Roswell.
Coyotes. Got the big win Friday night. Got our Rockets got the big win Thursday night. So setting up for an interesting week 2 of district play here.
It's not very often I get to do this, but and new number 1 in Southeast, or actually in all of New Mexico, District 4A and 5A is the Roswell Coyotes.
Yeah,
so congratulations.
Is it official,
it's
like the coaches polls?
I'm pretty sure that that Roswell Artesia was like this, and they swapped as of Friday.
So Roger.
Good on you, Coyotes.
Yeah, they did. But anyway, it sets up for week 2 of district play here. Of course, now the Goddard Rockets travel to Artesia to take on the Bulldogs Friday night, and then the Coyotes will be here at home hosting the Mayfield Trojans.
Yep.
So we got another two big games for you this Friday night here. So, but yeah, it was a good weekend. My Washington Commanders won.
Nice.
Finally. Fantasy football, not so much. Cowboys play tonight. 49ers lost, didn't they?
Did they really?
I think Cleveland beat them yesterday.
Wow.
So
all right.
Yeah, it's almost perfect. I don't know what Philly did, but I'm sure they won. I haven't heard it. Philly went on a bye week this week.
Wow.
Yeah, Philly went on a bye this week, were they? I hadn't heard much about Philly.
I don't know.
But anyway, I know
maybe they had the Monday game.
Washington won. No, Dallas does.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so not a bad weekend for football here. Solar eclipse was on Saturday.
Yes, that was interesting.
Although I don't think we got as good a view here because of the clouds.
Are you kidding? We had a fantastic view.
Like,
in fact,
did you?
So where it was completely cloudless over the sun when the actual eclipse was happening.
Okay, because I was kind of looking around, and I didn't have the glasses, so I wasn't looking directly, but I kept and so I was thinking it was like you were seeing it, but it wasn't like the full view because of some of the clouds.
Yeah, I made the mistake of trying, because I didn't have the glasses either. So I was like, well, I'll just try to glance at it and see if I can see something. I ended up getting spots in my eyes. I got
That's why they tell you not to do that.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that. So what we ended up doing was I found the NASA TV live stream from Kerr, Texas. That's where they were set up to for their view, because it was like the perfect vantage point.
Yeah.
But at one point during the annularity, like they were cutting to, it's like the New Year's Rockin' Eve or whatever. They were cutting to the annularity at different places. And at one point, they actually cut to it right when it was dead center in Roswell, New Mexico.
Oh, nice.
And they actually had like a correspondent on site here at the museum at their big event.
Oh, during the art science fair on Saturday.
Kind of talking up stuff. And yeah, from that point, you saw the Roswell perspective, and it was that perfect ring.
Nice.
Some of the pictures that are coming out of it, man, are just phenomenal.
Yeah, I was out running around and running errands during that time, so I'd kind of try to peek up here and there. But it did have a weird glow with the sun as we were walking, because it was...
No, it was like, I called it day dusk.
Yeah.
Any filmmakers out there
should
have really taken advantage of it. One funny thing was, so I've mentioned that that my friend and I are rewatching Modern Family.
Mm-hmm.
So yesterday I was over and we popped an episode on, and they were having an eclipse party.
Oh.
And it was from the last eclipse, the one that President Trump famously stared straight up at. It was from that eclipse, and it was funny because they mentioned in that show, they're like, actually, we'll have another one in 7 years. I'm like, that was this one. That was this one right now.
We just watched it. So, yeah, check out the Modern Family writers. Pick up a science book.
I like my friend was like, that's just weird.
Yeah, you love when life collides with art, or art collides
like
with life, or something. I don't remember how they say it.
Or somebody and this happens so often, and I can't even explain it. It's a weird phenomenon. I know some of it is the phone listens and picks up on algorithms, but if you're sitting there scrolling and you see a post with a bucket of KFC chicken right as your friend says at the KFC, that'll trip your mind up. Because that happened to me the other day. I was strolling along, and I see this picture of a bucket of KFC, and my friend mentions KFC.
Nice.
It was like, did we just break the Matrix?
You know, it's funny you mention that, because over the weekend I watched a show, and it's a new show on NBC.
Okay.
That's been out for about a month now. It started in the fall series here.
Sure.
I've been recording them because I was like, I want to check this show out. I kept seeing the commercials. I'm like, no, this kind of piques my interest. I finally watched the 4 episodes of it this weekend, over the weekend, the 2 days here. And I like the show, and it's interesting. And it's just funny you mentioned your talk about seeing things and hearing things. There's a show on NBC, comes on Monday nights, comes on episode 5 tonight. It's called The Irrational.
Oh, I saw the trailer for that.
Yeah, it's very good.
Is it?
The premise is the main character is a professor at a university here, but he's a expert on. He's a psychiatrist, but he's really good at like the brain and what we interpret and things and how we do it, and each case has this thing where it looks cut and dry, like somebody's guilty, but because and the 4th episode, the one I watched yesterday, was all about the when you hear. Like when you hear 12 people listen to something and hear the different things and all that, and then training your brain to like if you see the words and saying it, that's what you hear. But if you train, and so it was really interesting on that. And so like if you love that whole is the dress blue or green thing, it's really a show of that. It's really interesting, but they do it in everything's a murder case every week, kind of thing. And then the whole premise is like he's the psychiatrist, but he's a PTSD victim in and of itself. Like he had a bad explosion thing happen where his face is kind of burned, and so he does this to deal with his own trauma, kind of thing. If that makes sense,
it does.
Yeah.
One of the more fascinating psychological phenomena that I've actually kind of looked into is synesthesia.
Okay.
Because it manifests itself in several different ways. If you ever met somebody that has synesthesia, basically they experience their senses in a different way. Like Daryl Hammond he's famous for having synesthesia, and he says that he can taste colors.
Interesting.
That colors have a specific flavor to him. Same thing with tones, like music.
Interesting.
He says he can taste them.
That one tastes like chocolate.
He's talked about how lower notes are more like chocolate coffee, whereas the higher notes are they kind of have a raspberry tone to them. It's kind of fascinating to hear him talk about it.
It is kind of interesting. Now I want a Slurpee. Weirdly. Let me give you a rundown for today's show. We're going to replay an interview this hour. Last week, Dr. Sean Powell with Eastern New Mexico University Roswell joined us. Give us an update on things, so we'll play that this hour. In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, Chaves County Manager Bill Williams will join us, give us an update on last county commission meeting and other things happening around Chaves County. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15, Elliot Rodriguez with Loan Depot will pop in for his monthly visit. Elliot, he's the guy you talk to when you need to secure the money to get your house.
Gotta lock that bag down.
Yeah, he's not the real estate agent. He doesn't help you pick the house. But you see Elliot first to see how much money you can afford to buy the house.
Right.
So, but anyway, we always have a great conversation with Elliot, so we'll do that again here about 9:15 this morning. Plus, we'll have all of your features that include the news of the local, national variety. Of course, we had the shooting in Walmart, I guess, Saturday night, overnight.
Yeah.
I guess there was a little bit of because the sheriff was talking one way and then the RPD, and then there was a bit of back and forth about active shooter and the definition of that. And
there was a lot of backlash online about how it was handled.
I don't care about semantics. It was, someone was shooting. You can call it whatever you want. Right. It's scary, and hopefully they catch the guy. Last I heard, he was still in the loose, so I hadn't heard. But that was last night. I haven't.
Because the problem was that I think they had him contained inside, but then everybody started evacuating without any control, and then he ended up getting out with them, and that's sort of what led to it.
This is what happens when you have a situation like that.
Right.
People don't exactly wait around to wait for instructions when that kind of stuff happens. So we'll see. Hopefully they catch this guy though.
Yeah.
All right, it is 7:16. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather. Nice today. A little bit warmer tomorrow, but overall, good week. Can't complain.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We'll be getting sunshine today and fairly comfortable temperatures in the mid-70s with high pressure in place over our area. Wind should be fairly light. Overnight looks like mid-40s and clear, and then we start warming up a little bit on Tuesday. We're back in the mid-80s and it stays sunny and a little breezy. Sunshine and upper 80s for the high on Wednesday. It looks like we'll hit the upper 80s again on Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 45 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 68%. Winds currently out of the northwest at 5 miles per hour. Sunny today, mid-70s. Our high 76 officially. West winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear.
Creep with a foot
Overnight
fetish.
low 48
Here's
degrees.
Mike
Winds out of the
Winters.
south.
And good
5
morning.
to 15
It is
miles
20
per
minutes
hour.
after
We're
8
back up
o'clock.
in the mid-80s tomorrow. 86 for a high for you Tuesday. Winds will be out of the south 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear tomorrow night with an overnight low of 56. South winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Wednesday, 88 and sunny with west winds 5 to 15
Morning.
miles
It is
per
20
hour.
minutes after 8
Clear
o'clock.
Wednesday night, overnight low of 50. Back down in the low 80s on Thursday, 82 for a high there. Friday, sunny and 86, and then 87 on Saturday, 87 also on Sunday, sunny skies. So warming up kind of a little bit there, and then it kind of little roller coaster down there on Thursday. So the bottom of the hump there. All right, it is 7:17. We're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we're going to play our interview we have with Dr. Sean Powell from Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Good morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. A big October run this week with a nice selection of all classes of cattle, especially high-quality native calves, light yearlings, bred cows, and pairs. We expect to sell 2,100 head, breaking out like this: 300, 325 weighing cows and bulls, 275, 300 pairs of bred cows, 1,400, 1,450 calves and yearlings. Today's sale will include 40 to 50 cow-calf pairs, mostly black, white face, and Charolais crossbreds with Angus Charolais cross calves at side. Pairs 4 to 10 years old. 61 bred cows / Z Cattle Company, Tatum, New Mexico. X-quality black Angus cows, bred to high-quality Angus bulls to start calving January 1st for 75 days. These cows 6 to 9 years old. 36 bred cows, Mr. Bill Rice, Estancia, New Mexico. X-quality black Angus cross cows, bred to Angus bulls, second and third trimester, 7 to 10 years old. 12 cow-calf pairs, 11 bred cows, Mr. John Erskine, Wink, Texas. X-quality Charolais crossbred cows, bred to Angus and Charolais bulls, 5 to 9 years old. 44 calves, Mr. Joe Jackson here north of Roswell. X-quality black, white face Angus cross calves, Bovishield Gold 7-weight, 500, 600 pounds. 104 calves, McDaniel Family Trust, Capitan, New Mexico. X-quality black Angus calves, Bovishield Gold 7-weight, 400, 600 pounds. 102 calves and light yearlings, Sharp Ranch Incorporated, Corona, New Mexico. X-quality black, white face and Charolais crossbred calves, Bovishield Gold Co-Vexinate, 450, 700 pounds. 82 calves, Miss Joyce Halderman, Encino, New Mexico. X-quality yellow Charolais crossbred calves, Shots at Brandon, 450, 600 pounds. 85 calves, Braham Hindi and Sons, Duran, New Mexico. X-quality black Angus cross calves, Shots at Brandon, medium condition, 350, 550 pounds. 74 calves, McDonald Ranch, Loving, New Mexico. X-quality black, white face, red, white face English crossbred calves, cattle weaned 30 days, 2 rounds of shots, 400, 550 pounds. 38 calves, Mr. Wayne Netherland at Artesia. Quality black white face Angus cross calves, shots at Brandon, 400, 500 pounds, and 36 light yearlings, Mr. Neil Woodward, Fort Stockton, Texas. Quality black Brangus crosses, cattle are weaned, 2 rounds of shots, 500, 650 pounds. Sale time this morning will be 9 o'clock. Sell pairs of bred cows 11 to 11:30. Be selling calves and yearlings about 1 to 1:30. We expect to sell 2,100 head here today. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
Attention Roswell and surrounding areas. The time to trade up is now at Roswell Ford. Because now through the end of the month, Roswell Ford will take any trade, any condition, even if you owe thousands more than your car's value. And with a lot full of amazing deals, you can trade up and save big. Get 0 down, no payments for 90 days, and 0% on select new Ford models. With a job bringing home just $3.99 a week, Roswell Ford's aggressive lenders will push to approve your credit, even with bad credit or no credit. Check out a special edition Ford F-150 Raptor R, a 75th anniversary crew cab 4x4, a 2023 Ford Raptor Bronco, 2023 Ford F-150 Platinum Edition, and the new 2023 Ford F-150 Tremor. Now is the time to trade up. Head for Roswell Ford, the home of Tailgate Nation at the corner of 9th and Main in Roswell.
This October, Artesia General Hospital is here to help you take charge of your breast health. About 1 in 8 women in the U.S. will develop breast cancer. Understanding your family history and getting screened can help lower your risk and lead to early detection. They're pleased to offer advanced 3D mammography, providing increased early detection, more accurate results, and enhanced comfort. Don't wait. Request your mammogram today. Women over 40 don't need a physician's referral to schedule their annual screening. Visit artesiageneral.com/mammogram.
Let the autumn fun begin at the Artesia Arts Council's 48th Annual Art in the Park, Friday, October 20th, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m., and Saturday, October 21st, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. at JC Park in Artesia. Stroll through the park and find unique items from many fine arts and craft vendors, food trucks, live music, and more. Buy a chance to win a cake at the Artesia High Band Cakewalk, an annual tradition at Art in the Park. Bring the whole family to this fun fall event. Art in the Park, Friday, October 20th, and Saturday, October 21st at JC Park, 1710 South 26th Street in Artesia. Paid for by Artesia Lodgers Tax.
The Fergalicious boys can keep you hot this winter.
Fergalicious.
Oh yeah, it's getting cold out there, and Fergus Plumbing and Heating has what you need to keep things hot in your home. They can come by and winterize your pipes and check your insulation, and you know they'll do it with nothing but love. Oh yeah, baby. Call the Fergalicious boys at Fergus Plumbing and Heating at 622-2660. When you need it hot, Fergus is on the job.
Fergalicious. This spooky season, Roswell Nissan's getting you hooked up with a few treats. No tricks required. Roswell Nissan presents Truck or Treat, Saturday, October 21st from noon to 3. A ghoulishly good time complete with games and activities for the little goblins. Free food, pumpkin painting contest, and of course, caskets full of candy. And Roswell Nissan will be giving away Graves Farm Pumpkin Patch and Hayride tickets and haunted house passes. Drawing at 3 p.m. sharp, must be present to win. Truck or Treat, Saturday, October 21st at Roswell Nissan, 2111 West 2nd.
Are you ready to make a real difference in your community? Introducing the New Mexico Army National Guard. Serve your community with pride and become a part-time hero. Join our dedicated team and enjoy the adventure of a lifetime. Get full-time benefits without sacrificing your current career or education. When disaster strikes and your community needs assistance, you'll be there to lend a helping hand. So don't miss out on the opportunity to receive education, adventure, and financial stability, all while serving your country. Get started by calling 1-800-GO-GUARD.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Astronauts are not allowed to eat beans before they go into space because passing wind in a spacesuit damages them. The suits for the astronauts. Here's Mike Winters.
It's 20 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, President of Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell, Dr. Sean Powell, back with us. Good morning, sir. How you doing today?
Good morning, Michael. Thank you. Doing good.
How's life at the college this morning?
Things are good.
Weather's been beautiful, so I'm hoping students take advantage of all the grass and, in between classes, instead of maybe going indoors, they'll go hang out under a tree and, do some reading or do some studying or eat lunch or whatever.
Students are on campus for sure.
Yeah. I think it's a good time to come see some of the park benches and grass and trees that are on the campus there.
We do have an 8-week semester that's going to start next Monday.
Okay.
So enrollment is still going on. There's
Okay.
lots of classes that we're offering this go around.
Yeah, they got quite a few selection of those 8. So if you're missing, maybe you need a class there to kind of complete your degree plan or one, and you kind of want to do it in an accelerated rate. Maybe you're thinking, well, this one I think I want to do a shorter, and that way you can get the class in about half the time it normally would take to do that. Now, that being said, half the time means double the workload. So please understand you're going to be doing the same amount of work just in half the time. So it does require a little bit more effort on your part. But if you're willing to do that, it's a good way to kind of get a jump on your degree plan and maybe set the tables a little sooner than you wanted to on that. So, yeah, so
Like a summer class, just
accelerated. Yeah, but be aware it is a lot going on at one time there. So make sure that you plan accordingly.
Right.
Make sure you allot
Absolutely.
yourself the schedule and time. So if you do work full time or something like that, be aware you're doing double the work at that time.
Absolutely.
Which it can be done, but just plan for it. That's what
Right.
they do. So.
Yeah.
But first off, we probably want to congratulate your float committee at the Eastern New Mexico State Fair. They won the float parade,
Right.
the grand prize or the grand champion of the parade here.
They did.
On Monday of last week. So.
Yeah, a group came in and said, we're going to build a float. And I said, great. And I gave them lots of incentive to say, well, the float is next week. And it was an empty trailer till about 3 days before the parade started. And they really got it done.
They
pulled
crash coursed
together.
it and got it done. Huh?
And a lot of different folks were around campus. Really appreciate all the effort.
And did it pretty
that
well,
went into
apparently, if
there.
you're going to win the whole thing, the grand champions. So.
Well, now what they did tell me is there was a rubric for the float.
Okay.
And the ones the judges used, and they followed it. So
working smarter, not
Yeah.
harder. This is see, go to college, kids. You get smart.
yeah. But it was
they did. I love that. That's the whole point. But they had. It sounds like they had fun doing it, and they were able to, for those that saw the float, kind of showcase really all the aspects of ENMUR through a float, and they did a good job of doing that. So
the welding students built some framework that was there in each of the 3 different areas that we have on campus: technical education, health sciences, and then also the arts and sciences. Each had a part in the float with showcasing their programs.
Yeah.
And those frames that the welding students built can be used in other settings. So they had it actually after the float parade was over. Then they took them, and that was part of our fair booth.
It's a multi-purpose float.
Yeah.
It breaks down. It's like a transformer.
But really proud of all the folks that were involved with that.
Yeah, they did great. So, again, maybe next year, if you want to be on the float committee, start a little sooner. That way you got a little time. But they did great. That's good. And then, of course, now you're kind of, it's kind of, because midterms are like right around the corner here. So it's like kind of the calm before the next busy part of the semester here, really, for the campus, as far as class schedule and stuff. So I imagine it's maybe a little peaceful right now, but here in a week or two, it's going to get back to heavy, cramming for midterms and getting those midterm papers or whatever they got to get done.
Right.
So it's kind of the calm before the next storm right now, I think, at least the vibe on the campus is.
Right. We have the midterm exams that are going on, and then also this Saturday we're taking part in the community efforts for the eclipse.
Yeah.
And it's really kind of interesting. We're going to have Dr. Michael Anderson come down from Portales.
Okay.
This fellow has taught in Portales since 1995.
Okay.
His degree is in experimental nuclear physics.
Okay.
From MIT.
So he's a physicist.
Yeah, absolutely.
From
And-
MIT.
Yeah, and he's been there almost 30 years,
Yeah.
and his passion is teaching, and so he's going to be here Thursday and Friday, I believe, to help out and offer some classes.
Does he have a kind of knowledge on the astrophysicist side of things with because we're the eclipse and stuff?
He
I think
teaches
that's-
I
think that's astrophysicist. I'm not sure. Right?
Yeah.
My knowledge of physicists is Big Bang Theory. So.
Right. Well, I spoke with him, and it was a very cordial conversation, and he's very glad to come down and help
He's going
us
to come
out.
and kind of explain what you're seeing when you're at participating in seeing the clips on
Right.
Saturday. Now, You can come on out. You guys will have glasses and stuff.
We
don't
have
look
some
at it without
glasses.
the glasses. Don't be out in your backyard just looking at it
Right.
without the eye protection and things. But if you kind of want to learn a little bit more about what you're seeing and why it's seeing, come on out to the campus here. They'll have the glasses. What time is? Because the event.
So we're gonna
it'll be early.
Yeah, I think the total partiality, because it's a Ring of Fire eclipse, is around 10:30.
Yeah,
and we're partnering with the city.
Okay.
And so the museum and the
They're doing their
planetarium-
art and science fair on
Right.
Saturday.
So we'll be there.
Okay.
We won't have events on campus on Saturday.
So you guys will be participating with the city's event.
Yes.
There. So
Yeah.
come out to the convention center.
Right.
That event's going on all day from like 10. I think where's the flyer? It's till 4 o'clock. 10 to 4. That's what
Right.
it is. All day 10 to 4. But the actual Ring of Fire solar eclipse, I think the actual process starts around 9:30, 9:40.
Right.
The peak, the most eclipse is right around 10:30, 10:40.
I think so, right.
And then by about 11:30, it's all over with.
Right.
So, but if you want to get the most blacked out of it's going to be, it's right around 10:30, 10:40.
Yes.
Is when on Saturday morning. So get out to the convention center. They're going to have the glasses for you and everything else. And then, like you said, they're going to have the experts there. Like you said, you're going to have your physicist there. I believe someone from NASA is going to also be there.
I believe so.
At the event too. I think you're going to have some pretty expert knowledge on what's going on and what you're seeing Saturday morning. So.
Well, and the other thing that we're taking part in, we're just hosting a group from Arizona State University. Whenever there's an eclipse like this, NASA has a set of universities along the line of totality. And so
Okay.
they follow the path and they launch weather balloons.
Okay.
So on Saturday, here in Roswell, ASU and their team will be launching a weather balloon. It's a standard thing that happens
It's
during
not an
these
alien,
eclipses,
it's a weather balloon.
as far as we know. And we're going to host them on campus. They're going to work with the early college high school students
cool.
and university high school students on
Good deal.
Friday.
Are they going to launch it from the convention center there? Or
No, they're going to launch it, I think, about 30 miles west of town.
Okay.
Because this is a free-floating, non-directional balloon.
And they're pretty big, right?
They start off small, and then as they gain in altitude,
they grow.
Okay. Yeah, they get
kind of
larger
elongated and everything. Like sometimes you see them up in the sky doing their thing, and they kind of look
Right.
They get funky shapes sometimes. Up there.
Yeah, they go up as high as 90,000 or 100,000 feet, and then usually they burst, and that's when they come down. And so they have a lot of telemetry and other atmospheric instruments where they take a lot of measurements during the eclipse along that line. And that team, again, all of those college students and university students from Arizona and other places are going to come here and be working with our students on
Nice.
our campus
Studying
on
and
Friday.
working.
Yeah.
So that'd be a lot of fun. So please, when you're out Saturday, come out, see a part of this, especially if you've got family members that love this aspect of science, love space, love that kind of thing. And obviously with the whole Science and Art Festival on Saturday, it's a whole day of fun STEAM activities because they, a lot of stuff with art, lots of recycled projects and recycle art projects. And it's all free on Saturday, so your whole family's going to have a lot of fun. So get out there early. When the doors open at 10, make sure you're there so you can participate in the solar eclipse stuff. And then when you're done that, you can hang out and do some of the other events and things that are going on there.
Absolutely.
So, good deal.
So that's this Saturday, and then next week we'll have a banquet. Our foundation is having its annual banquet, and we have 2 honorees. The Snowburgers with McDonald's are being honored, and then also Dr. Patrice Caldwell will be honored by our foundation for their service to ENMU and ENMU Roswell.
Good deal. Yeah, the foundation, for folks that don't know, that's really a great source for providing opportunities for students to be a part of ENMU Roswell. That's when you have the golf tournaments and things, that's foundation stuff.
Right.
And basically they're raising money for scholarships and things like that, so we can have as many people that want to call the campus home. They have the ability to do that, and that's where the foundation comes in and does a lot of that kind of stuff. So
yeah, and then,
so it's great that we honor the people that help them do what they do.
Right. It's going to be a great event, October 18th, and that'll be happening on our campus. And then on the 24th at 6 o'clock, we'll be having our 65th anniversary. And so a committee has been going through all the archives and finding all of the old materials.
Right.
And they actually came up with bulletins from the first year of the college's existence.
Oh, cool.
You think about a college catalog being real thick. This thing's maybe 11 pages.
Those first year went a lot to
right. and they have those catalogs from the first few years, and they'll have all of those things on display. And we're inviting all of our alumni and current students, faculty members.
I'd be interested to see like some of the course selections available in 65 years ago. That would be kind of a neat list. Because and this is something, the ENMUR is you get your full degree and everything else, but at the end of the day, it's a community university, and so its job is to meet the needs of the community in which it serves, and so that's why you always see certain classes and things, because it's meeting the demands. There's certain unique classes that are offered here that aren't offered in other places because this meets the needs of this community and things. So I'd be very curious to see back at 65 years ago what were some of the classes that they obviously you probably had the basics, your math and science, but I'm curious to see what some of the elective courses were available back then. That'd be kind of interesting. So.
Right. I looked at the schedule just yesterday, and they had a technical education program, and then they had some home economic classes, if you remember those.
Oh, yeah. I remember in middle school and high school taking home economics classes. And matter of fact, in middle school, we did 2 semesters. So one semester was home economics, and we actually did sewing and baking, and then the other half was shop. And then we go in and we did woodworking. And that one was predominantly woodworking. I did metal in high school. But yeah, so I did all that in high school. I don't know if they still do, but they did back then.
Yeah. But no, we're looking forward to the event on the 24th. And anyone who has any association or affiliation with the campus is encouraged to come and celebrate the 65th anniversary.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. Who knows? Any alumni of that first graduating class still hanging out and around that want to come and visit, I think we can get a special spot for you if maybe
absolutely
that first class there happens to be a graduate of the first graduating class of Eastern New Mexico University Roswell that's around that would like to come out. Like I said, they've been around a while because it's 65 years, and so they were probably in their early 20s by then. So yeah, they're going to be older folks, but there might be a few around.
Yeah, there might be, and we do have some faculty members that are still around that I'm familiar with that have taught a long time ago at the campus and still have relationships with them.
Good deal.
Well,
hopefully they come out and visit and get to share some stories with people and all that kind of stuff. So any professors or students or really anyone that has called ENMUR home for any given time over the last 65 years, we'd love to. I mean, everybody's welcome, but especially, maybe you're a graduate from 30, 40 years ago. We'd love to have you there and come see and share your experiences and talk with, little stroll down memory lane here as we go.
Yeah, and it's been an event that's really got a lot of people on campus involved. They've got a big committee. I know Lindy Newman out of our office has been involved with those efforts, and she's been going through archives and finding old pictures. The one that I had scanned once they showed it to me, I have a picture of the last day a flag flew at Walker Air Force Base.
Oh, wow.
November 27th of 67 is when that happened. Yeah.
That's a poignant moment there. Huh?
Right.
Because that flag went down and the base is closed. Interesting.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
So there's lots of pictures and different artifacts like that'll be on display. So we encourage everyone to come out. Yeah.
Wonder if that flag's still in existence. Like, is it sitting in someone's collection in a basement somewhere?
Yeah.
The flag that flew over, the final flag that flew over Walker Walker Air Force Base.
Yeah.
That would be very interesting. So, I don't know. One of those things may be lost to history. We don't know, but I love that kind of stuff. So what's the date on the that next week?
So that'll
again?
be October 24th.
Okay.
Will be the
here about 2 weeks.
65th anniversary. Yeah, 2 weeks from today.
Yeah.
And then next week on the 18th will be the foundation banquet.
Yes.
And so if people are interested in attending, I'd encourage them to call Craig Collins at the campus.
And you'll find him if you go to the enmu.edu website, you'll find his thing there. Or you know what? Even if you go to the ENMUR's Facebook page and say, I heard him talking about the foundation dinner, who do I need to talk to? They'll get you.
Yeah.
So if you don't remember Craig Collins, put it on there and someone will definitely puts you in touch with the right people.
Right. Now, as I was walking in, I was listening to a little bit of agricultural work. And you were talking
Our fine
about some other foods. And I did want to just mention we have a growing agricultural program. Really appreciate the work of numerous people. Andrea Strapp, who's our faculty member in ag, and then Robert Moore, who's the assistant vice president over that area, Edna Yoakum, who's a director over that area. They're all building, and Andrea started with us in January, and there were just a few students, and her classes are full this fall.
Yeah, for many folks may not know or remember, she was the 4-H director. We used to have her on the radio show all the time, so we knew about her prior job. So yeah, she has a bit of experience in the farming and ranching and in that community world here. So.
And we're going to be starting an air pistol club and having it out on campus, and so that'll be something. And then another future thing we're looking at is starting a livestock judging team.
Oh, cool.
And so we'll be getting more word out about that, hiring a livestock judging coach, and, seeing how far we can go with that. Because I think with all of the activities, like you said, it was Fair Week that happened out at the fair. We have the 4-H students, and we've got the youth that are in FFA. So this would be a natural progression for them just to stay in Roswell for a couple of years.
Well, and it's getting back to what I said, earlier about, the role of that campus to serve the community. And the ag industry is very much the fabric of this community. It's, arguably the biggest part of the fabric of this community and things like that. So it's good to see that, you guys are kind of, putting more of the ag side into the classroom here. So that's a good thing. So love all that and that's something that we, the people, are going to have to figure out is the whole farming and ranching industry, because there's less and less people doing it, and the demand goes up every year. I'm not a math wizard, but I can figure out that's going to be a problem if we don't figure it out. So we got to groom and create the next generation of farmers and ranchers, because they're the ones that are going to feed the world, and there's going to be less of them doing it. So we're going to have to get smarter on how to do it. So
well, and to quote what Representative Azell says every time I've heard her speak publicly, she says, "If you eat, you're involved with ag."
Absolutely, and I eat a lot. By the way, Dr. Powell, liver and onions fan?
No, not so much. Not so much.
Well, and I know you're a military guy, and so generally speaking, military people will eat anything, even though they don't like it. They'll still eat it because either eat or don't eat. Right. So I guess I'm eating it.
Yeah. You get what you get. Right.
And we've eaten various things in bags over the years that, liver and onions might look pretty good compared to that.
Right. Right.
So I was just curious on that.
Yeah.
But and then of course now's the time if you want to enroll for the fall semester and all that. This is now the time to start getting registered. Start, getting if you have not registered with the campus and everything. Now's the time to get that paperwork groundwork laid. And then which is probably in a few short weeks, they'll open up the spring semester catalog here, and then you can start signing up for classes and getting it done now, rather than you scrambling that first couple weeks of January trying to get it done before the classes.
Registration starts about 19 days on the 29th of October.
Good deal. But now's the time if you're interested in enrolling into the campus or into the college, or if you want to talk to an advisor about getting financial aid or some of that kind of stuff procured. They'll be happy to call. Just call the main number, the schedule appointment, or go to the website roswell.enmu.edu. You can schedule appointment, and there you can kind of read the course stuff and do all that and kind of do your homework and then call, and talk. But this is the time. This is the best time to do that kind of stuff. It's kind of in the lull. The classes are working on classes, but the enrollment folks, like I said, the classes signups have not started yet. So this is a good time to catch them when they can devote a lot of time to you and help you really navigate through this stuff.
Absolutely.
So if you're interested in really wanting to explore your options here, now's a great time to sit down with the advisors and staff and let them map it all out for you. It's really a great way to do it. So, but this is the good time. If you try to do this in January, they'll still be happy to help you, but there's going to be a lot more demand on their time too. So do it this time when everybody's a little less, going 60 different directions.
Well, and the earlier you register, the more opportunities you have to have choices.
Absolutely. Particularly if you have a class that has a limited window on when it's available and you need that for your plan, then the earlier you sign up, the better chance that you'll get those the particular time slots you want. Or if you're like, I got an English class, but I got to do it 8 in the morning, or it's gonna, well, the earlier you do that, the more variety and selection you'll have to do that. As you get later, guess what? A lot of people need the same thing you do too, and so they've already signed up, and so you might have to take a lesser convenient time or push back to next semester because the classes are full. So get it done now.
And some of the programs are full. All, you know, for example, welding, we have 40 welding booths. There's 40 welding students, and so they're already locked into the fall semester. So if you want to try to get into those early classes for welding or automotive or HVAC or whichever one of the fields, you know, any of the healthcare fields or our arts and science programs, I would encourage you, like you're saying, Mike, get out there, talk to advisors, get all of your transcripts and all of your application materials submitted.
Get the legwork done now. So when it's time to sign up and do all this, all you got to do is roll in and sign up and get your books and get ready for day one of class here. So that's all. You know, trust me, I get it. Life happens and you get sidetracked and things happen, but you will save yourself so much headache, hassle, and stress if you plot and plan a little bit here and just spread this out. Do it now when it's less busy. So when the times do get busy and you need to use the resources, you've got most of what you need in place. You're just dotting your I's and crossing your T's at the end.
Right.
So please, trust me, as a person that's now 50 that didn't do some of these things I'm telling you when I was in my 20s, listen, it's so much better. As a guy that did it the hard way, the hard way is not the best way sometimes. Right. So, but it'll make you, it'll create so much more opportunity for you if you just plan a little bit.
Sure.
But come out this Saturday to the convention center for the eclipse. Like I said, the event will get underway at 10. Be there when the doors open at 10, because about 30 minutes later is the high water mark of the Ring of Fire solar eclipse on Saturday. And by the way, we lucked out again. This part of the country is like one of the best areas to see this Ring of Fire. So we're kind of blessed. We're going to get a good view of it where other parts of the world aren't going to get to see it as well as we will. So all you got to do is roll out your house and come on down to the convention center and get those glasses. Don't try looking at it.
Absolutely. Don't look at it directly.
If you have any questions about anything we talked about, again, roswell.enmu.edu is the website for Eastern New Mexico University Roswell. You can find the complete course load, enrollment, advisors. Every question you have, you'll probably find the answer there on the website. You can always call the number. It's 7,000. I can never remember the first part of the.
If you just dial 624-7000, you'll be okay.
624 is the number. I couldn't remember the prefix, but I was like, I know 7,000 is the other half.
Yeah.
But that's the main number, and it'll direct you to wherever you want to go.
Absolutely.
If you want to talk to financial aid or enrollment or one of the departments or whatever, they'll patch you in. And then, of course, come out next week for the foundation banquet, and then here in about 2 weeks for
65th anniversary.
The 65th anniversary. Thank you. I had a brain cramp.
Yeah. You bet.
Is there anything else we wanted to put on the radar, Dr. Powell?
The only other thing I'd throw out there, and this is down at the end of the month, and the city is really hosting this. We're just participating in it, and I think there'll be a lot of other groups joining. So the Trick or Treat event will be at the Civic Center, and so that'll happen on that Tuesday, October 31st.
You guys are going to have a booth out there at the
we will.
Citywide event, and that'll be out. Yeah, that'll be Halloween night.
4 to 8, I think, is the time frame.
And that'll be so. And they'll have all kinds of booths. So look for the ENMUR booth when you're out at the Trunk or Treat or whatever they're calling it for this year.
Right.
So good deal. What's your treat? Do you know yet?
You know, part of the agreement in being involved with that was you have to buy $500 worth of candy.
Okay.
I'm not buying the candy, so I'm not sure.
You got someone who can handle the candy purchase.
I'm not buying the candy, so I don't want it to disappear before the 31st.
Well, then let me ask you: if you were buying the candy, what's your go-to candy you would buy?
Well, it'd have to be some of the chocolate.
Okay,
candy,
I didn't know if you had like a favorite. Like I'm a Kit Kat guy, or I'm a Reese's guy, or M&M's.
Reese's peanut butter cups would probably be the number one. For
me. You can't argue with. Now, do you like them better when they're shaped like pumpkins or cups?
Doesn't matter.
Christmas trees or whatever.
Matter.
Okay,
doesn't matter.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Reese's. I've always been an M&M peanut guy. That's always been my
those
go-to.
are good too.
I always feel like you get a few extra, even though it's only like 6 in the little fun pack.
Right.
Good deal. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Powell. We appreciate it. We'll let you get on to your next meeting here, and you know, hey, if you got candy suggestions, shoot them on the Facebook page.
That's right.
Maybe you can do a poll, and it's like, oh, we got mostly. Of course, there'll be that one person that loves like some obscure candy bar that they're going to do 100 times, and that'll win $1,000 grand or something. Good deal. Well, thank you, Dr. Powell.
Well,
We'll see
thank
you
you
next time. All right, it is closing in on 8:47. Let's pause for local news. Your Cowboys report, quick commercial break as well. Dallas Cowboys report, not just general Cowboys.
Now for your Pecos Valley News update, I'm Jared Cirillo. Sitting Bull Falls Recreation Area, the historic recreation site located in the Guadalupe Ranger District in the Lincoln National Forest, is now reopening under modified hours. The site was temporarily closed September 27th because of ongoing staffing issues. The site is now open Wednesday through Sunday with hours of 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. That's where they'll keep it until full-time personnel are hired. An announcement will be made to the public once regular hours resume. The city of Roswell is hosting a public discussion on the current state of homelessness in the city and how you and other citizens, as well as public and private entities, can help the homeless and address the local homelessness problem. The meeting will take place Tuesday, October 24th from 4 to 5:30 p.m. at the Roswell Recreation and Aquatic Center. Those expected to be at the meeting to offer information and answer questions from the public include city officials, law enforcement leaders, and representatives of homeless assistance organizations. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo reporting.
If you're going to buy a new smartphone because you want the latest camera, then by all means, do it. Cameras are the very best thing found in today's top-of-the-line iPhones and Androids. But if you're buying because you want a phone with the best security, not so fast. I'm Kim Commando, brought to you by SimpliSafe. Save 20% on a new security system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafekim.com. Of course, security is vital for our smartphones. Most of us carry our entire lives on our phone. But Apple, Samsung, and all the other manufacturers are always quietly and remotely fixing all the security problems every time you're offered a free software update. All are loaded with fixes that keep older phones, some as old as 4 to 5 years, just as secure as today's newest phones, sometimes even longer. So here's the rule of thumb. When your smartphone software updates stop, it's time for a new phone, even if that phone still works fine and you don't really need one. Get tech smart with my free newsletters and join over 600,000 people who do. You can sign up at getkim.com. Bring smiles to all this year with Dell Technologies Gift Guide. Find the perfect gift for everyone on your list, including artists, entrepreneurs, students, streamers, and more. Visit Dell.com/gift guide for a carefully curated selection of the best tech, including innovative PCs like the XPS laptop, powered by the latest Intel Core processors. Plus, shop this season's top accessories. Visit Dell.com/gift guide to get a jump on your holiday gift list. That's Dell.com/gift guide.
Is that the new iPhone 15 Pro?
Oh, yeah. It's made with titanium, and the Pro camera is epic. Just got it at T-Mobile.
Nice.
Yeah, and I got their Go 5G Next plan, so now I have the freedom to upgrade my phone every year.
I gotta get to T-Mobile.
Take charge of your upgrades at T-Mobile.com.
Phone now via 24 monthly bill credits plus tax for well-qualified customers. Contact us before canceling account to continue bill credits or credit stop and balance on a required finance agreement due. 1-year upgrade requires financing qualifying device and upgrading in good condition after 6 months with half paid off.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We'll be getting sunshine today and fairly comfortable temperatures in the mid-70s with high pressure in place over our area. Wind should be fairly light. Overnight, looks like mid-40s and clear, and then we start warming up a little bit on Tuesday. We're back in the mid-80s, and it stays sunny and a little breezy. Sunshine and upper 80s for the high on Wednesday. Looks like we'll hit the upper 80s again on Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. It's the Roswell Coyotes with the upper hand as the Coyotes defeated Artesia on Friday night by a score of 29-8. Friday night football in Artesia, it falls to 7-1. Roswell is now 8-0. Manny Fuentes hit A.B. Toscano with a 36-yard touchdown pass to start things off. Then Fuentes found Malachi Mitchell for a couple of touchdown passes later. So Roswell moves into next week's game against Mayfield with a good start to the district schedule. Meanwhile, NMMI beats Dexter by a score of 22-8. Cohen Tomasitz, 12 carries, 97 yards for the victorious Colts. Hagerman loses at Texaco 63-0. Hagerman does finish its regular season in a couple of weeks against Jow. That's on October 27th. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. United Auto Workers President Sean Fain says the union will not expand its strike against the Detroit 3 automakers at the moment, but said its members would now walk out of additional facilities without warning rather than wait until Fridays to announce new plans. PNC Financial Services Group is cutting about 4% of its workforce and reported a drop in third-quarter profit as a surge in funding costs offset higher interest from its assets. California is preparing a lawsuit to block Kroger Company's $24.6 billion acquisition of Albertsons on concerns the deal could hurt consumers and workers. The Federal Trade Commission had been conducting its own review of the merger. Domino's Pizza missed market expectations for its third-quarter revenue, as higher menu prices and delivery charges discouraged inflation-weary consumers from ordering at restaurants. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Honey, read this. Seems Councilman Barry Foster didn't pay his water bill for over 2 years, owing almost $2,000.
How? They would have cut his water off.
State mandates the water service couldn't be cut during COVID.
This says the Fosters make around $150,000 a year, and they refuse to pay their water bill?
Since Barry Foster's been on city council, city debt has tripled. With rising crime, he voted against hiring 5 new police officers.
And the city delayed vital repairs to our drinking water system. Now, repair costs have skyrocketed.
It's time for a change.
Change by voting for Carlos Marujo.
He's a supervisor at Eastern New Mexico U. Carlos knows how inflation impacts Roswell's working families.
Carlos Marujo will demand Roswell live within its means. He respects taxpayers.
We can't afford 16 years of Councilman Barry Foster.
Our Values PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising. Paid for by Our Values PAC. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Of all the flowers in the world, pansies get a bad rap. Hi, this is Jim Gill with Roswell Seed Company. The name pansies sound delicate and weak, but in reality, pansies are bold and beautiful. When the frost has killed all the other flowers, pansies start blooming, and they'll bloom all winter long, which is why you should come see us at Roswell Seed. We have a greenhouse full of colorful pansies ready to brighten up the coldest winter day. So come get your pansies, and remember, if someone calls you a pansy, take it as a compliment.
Are you ready to make a real difference in your community? Introducing the New Mexico Army National Guard. Serve your community with pride and become a part-time hero. Join our dedicated team and enjoy the adventure of a lifetime. Get full-time benefits without sacrificing your current career or education. When disaster strikes and your community needs assistance, you'll be there to lend a helping hand. So don't miss out on the opportunity to receive education, adventure, and financial stability, all while serving your country. Get started by visiting our website, nationalguard.com/NM.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. China has more English speakers than the United States. They have more Chinese speakers, too. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. We're closing in on 7:59. Stay tuned next hour. About 8:15 or so, we're going to have Chaves County Manager Bill Williams join us, give us an update on last county commission meeting and other things happening in and around the county. A couple events I want to put on your radar. Don't forget, coming up here in just a few days here on the 19th of October, the Roswell Refuge will be having their Remember My Name Candlelight Vigil. That's going to be on the 19th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at the Anderson Museum of Contemporary Art there at College, 409 East College. Come and join survivors, victims, and families and others as they honor the lives of those who've lost their battle, and also celebrate the victories too. But it's a roller coaster of events, is happy, sad, everything in between there. So if you have any questions, call the office number at the Roswell Refuge. That phone number to call is 575-624-3222. Again, that's 575-624-3222. You can always go to roswellrefuge.org as well for more information there too. And don't forget, if you know a victim or you yourself and you're ready to break free from it, they have a 24/7 crisis hotline too, 575-627-8361. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. We'll be back on the other side of news. Don't go away.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. More than 1 million Palestinians have fled their homes in anticipation of a sweeping Israeli ground offensive in Gaza.
Israeli forces, supported by U.S. warships, have gathered along the Gaza border and are preparing for what Israel says will be a broad campaign to dismantle Hamas. Aid groups warn an Israeli ground offensive could hasten a humanitarian crisis. A week of blistering airstrikes have demolished neighborhoods, but have failed to stop militant rocket fire into Israel. The war began on October the 7th and has become the deadliest of 5 Gaza wars for both sides, with thousands dead. I'm Karen Chamas.
The Israeli military says terrorists are holding 199 hostages in Gaza. That is a higher number than previously reported. Multiple media outlets report Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has invited President Biden to visit Israel in the midst of the conflict. The president, meanwhile, has canceled a planned trip to Colorado today. Instead, Mr. Biden expected to hold a series of high-level meetings with aides on Israel and the growing humanitarian concerns in Gaza. The president favors the elimination of the terrorists targeting Israel, while also supporting a future Palestinian state.
The president backs Israel's right to defend itself and believes taking out Hamas and Hezbollah is a necessary requirement. However, interviewed on CBS's 60 Minutes, he warned against an Israeli occupation of Gaza. The president said there's a difference between Hamas terrorists and Palestinian civilians.
White House correspondent Greg Clugston. The nation's third largest pharmacy chain has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Rite Aid facing declining sales as well as numerous opioid-related lawsuits. Stocks sharply higher so far this morning on Wall Street. Right now, the Dow is up 210 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
A Russian governor is in hot water for some anti-Ukraine war remarks.
Natalia Komarova, governor of the Shanty-Mansiysk region and a member of Putin's governing party, is accused of discrediting the armed forces after telling residents the country wasn't prepared and has no need for its war in Ukraine. Critics are calling on authorities to investigate the remarks, but Komarova is not facing any charges so far. A video shows her making the comments while speaking to a soldier's wife who claims that the men mobilized to fight are poorly prepared for the front line. Komarova is seen telling residents they hadn't been prepared for the invasion, comments that quickly spread online, leading pro-war activists to denounce her to authorities. Russia, at the start of the war, approved legislation which outlaws disparaging the military. I'm Mimi Montgomery.
Students and teachers in France observing a moment of silence today to honor a teacher fatally stabbed last week by a suspected Islamic radical. News and analysis at townhall.com. Some Mexican residents residing near the California border could get in-state tuition rates.
The legislation signed Friday by Governor Newsom creates a pilot program for some low-income Mexicans who want to attend certain community colleges in Southern California. The program will run through 2029. Proponents of the legislation say it will lower a barrier for people living near the border to receive an education and prepare to join the workforce. It resembles similar legislation in Nevada that allows residents who live near the California border to get discounted tuition at Lake Tahoe Community College. Rhonda Rockstra reporting.
A House vote on a new Speaker of the House may come around noontime tomorrow in D.C. In the meantime, business in the lower house of Congress remains on hold. Since ousting Kevin McCarthy earlier this month, Republicans have been unable to come up with a successor. Ohio's Jim Jordan has been nominated for the speakership. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel witch and what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The deuce.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. I gotta admit, I was like, I'm not hearing him coming. They're gonna make it? I was like, does Jocelyn know? Does Jocelyn know? Does she know
She's not aware of the tradition. The time was of the essence.
Right, okay. Very good. Well, I was just wondering.
It's difficult to pull off that sitcom trope of being in two places at the same time, but
it is.
Your boy tries to pull it off.
You need that thing from the Harry Potter movie.
The time turner?
Yeah, I think it's the third one.
Yeah.
Or she has a little clock around her.
Which, by the way, it is the lamest use of time travel in the history of literature. Like, here, I'm going to give you the chance to go back in time so that you can take more classes. What?
Well, I think it was to avoid the...
No, it was so that she could take more classes, so that she could be in all her classes and keep up with all of her studies. It doesn't
they
really
saved
go
an
into
animal.
Sure.
Or whatever that thing was. Dragon.
It was a hippogriff. It doesn't go into it. Don't even question me on my Potter lore, sir. It doesn't really go into it in the movie, but if you read the book, it talks about the fact that she's given the time turner specifically just to go back and make sure she gets to all her classes on time. It's the lamest excuse for time travel ever.
Well, it was, but they pulled. This was called. So what they did was they put that in there knowing they're going to need it later in the story.
Yeah,
so they do it to give you an excuse. Why would she have it to begin with?
In the literary world, it's what's known as Chekhov's gun. When you present Chekhov's gun, eventually Chekhov's gun has to be fired.
Right.
And that's the point. But it's the fact that they use that as the MacGuffin or whatever you want to call it. It feels weak. You could have found a different reason to introduce the time turner.
I think you got to blame J.K. Rowling on this.
Oh, no, there's a lot we blame J.K. Rowling for.
Yet most of these people wouldn't have a life without her.
She just would have written a bigger role for Cedric Diggory. None of us would have had to deal with Twilight.
Just saying, the people that are salty with her literally live their whole lives in that world, and they would have nothing without her.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. They would. They would find a different place.
Yeah, they'd have different plastic pants and a different bathtub with Jell-O. That's what they'd be.
Exactly. Well, look at Stranger Things and how that sort of like reinvigorated the D&D scene.
Yeah. Look, I love entertainment as much as the next person. I get it, but some of these people need to get a grip. They're not really wizards. There's no such thing as witches. There's no flying brooms.
It's the spooky season, sir. I'll thank you to keep your words to your doggone self.
And there's no such thing as zombies.
I'll tell you this. I would participate in a lot more D&D style games if they played out like they do on Community.
If I would too, if I had a desire to not socialize or have friends.
If I could see Kin Jong in full wood nymph phase, then yeah, I would play a lot more D&D.
Those folks, God bless you, do what you want to do, but these were the people that stayed in the basements when I was a kid. These are the ones that we didn't want out in public.
They were down there having a blast. Slaying dragons.
All I'm saying is go back to the basement and have fun and get out of the public, please.
I actually had a friend who them and their D&D troop, what do you call them? Pack, group, were making their own mead. I'm like, oh, you guys lean way in.
Yeah.
Like, y'all are making honey wine in the basement. It's basically, it's essentially toilet wine, just in a different vessel.
I'm telling you, pull the warning labels off, man. We need that in society today. Just cut them off, cut the labels off, let people figure it out. And a lot of our problems will go away, just saying. We're going to thin the herd. Time to thin the herd.
Not 100% on board with Mike Winters on this one, but
hey, I believe in freedom. Do what you want. I'm just saying, take the barriers down. Let these people ignore the warning signs. Let them turn them loose to figure out that electricity burns
The purge
everywhere.
begins in 12 hours. The purge begins in 12 hours. Repeat. The purge begins in 12 hours.
Let them sit in the bathtub blow drying their hair. That's all I'm saying. Just let them.
how else am I going to get that kind of lift in volume, my friend?
Stop stopping these people. That's what I'm saying. And it started with people playing Dungeons and Dragons in public.
I don't know if that's where it started. I think that's where it continued. It's where it evolved to.
See, back in the day, we had models, plastic models for people like this. And you'd sit in your basement and play your plastic model and build your models. That's what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then they brought this D&D and they put them all together. And now they just think they're all wizards.
Well, it depends on how strong their role is, really.
You know, we got more spellcasters that work at all subs. Just saying.
How else are they going to pay for their D20s?
Yeah, just, you know, devote some time to learning something that refers to.
Have you ever seen how in depth the lore of they've put the time in?
They have.
I'm just saying
All I'm saying is put equal amount of time on things like getting a job.
Well, they
paying
probably
for
do.
your bills.
Sure.
You know, maybe starting a family, doing things that humans do.
Who wants all that nonsense?
That's fine, but don't make me like it. Don't make me have to listen to this nonsense. Sit back in the dark shadows, in the quiet areas where we don't see you where you belong.
And you're
going
to tell me you didn't enjoy the first part of the first season of Stranger Things.
That's fine. It's all right. I don't mind watching it. I don't live the life. I watch a show and then I go about my day.
But that's what I'm saying is you don't live the life. So as someone who hasn't dipped a toe, so to speak, how dare you judge, sir?
I will. I don't judge. Do what you want until it's time to pay the bills. Then you got to pay the bills.
But out of one side of the mouth, do what you want. On the other side of the mouth, hey, let's thin the herd.
No, I'm saying is there's consequences for your actions.
Sure.
Do what you want, but guess what? I'm not going to put your safety net. You're going to be the one that's going to have to deal with those consequences. I'm tired of being the safety net for every idiot that wants to do something stupid.
In other news, the Roswell Role Playing Society will meet for their annual meeting this Thursday.
I'm just saying, do what you want, pull the safety net, and deal with your consequences yourself.
Fair
I'm
enough.
tired of dealing with them.
Fair enough.
That's what I'm saying. I'm for all do what you want, but there are consequences. And if you're going to act like you're Harry Potter your whole life, then guess what? You're going to have some problems in your world. That's what's going to happen.
That being said, I did just get the new Potterverse game. I'm real excited to figure out which class I'm going to be.
And God bless you. But the day you coming in here trying to change the TV channel with a wand, then I'm going to send you somewhere.
You can actually get those.
Yeah, you can. I know. But when you're in here going,
I'll send you a link.
Change erroneous, I'm like, get out of here.
I'll send you a link. That's fantastic. It's totally universal. You can change other people's TVs. They're great.
But anyway.
And all that because somebody was smart enough to go to school and learn the technology to make it. So I understand where you're coming from. But that being said, let the magic be real sometimes, man.
That's the problem. These people live in these bubbles and they think everything's magic. Willy Wonka wannabes.
Sometimes you have to just let believe in the magic that maybe isn't there, but
sometimes you need to
into.
grow up and be an adult and do adult things. We're not all 7 anymore. And if you want to be 7, fine. 7-year-olds don't have jobs or anything. So guess what? You're going to sit in the ditch without clothes by yourself. Because that's what a 7-year-old would do without anybody doing something for them.
Yeah, I think I'd eventually find some clothes. I'm semi-resourceful.
All I'm saying is there's consequence reactions. Do what you want. But I'm tired of bailing you out when you keep doing the things you want to do because you refuse to be an adult.
How did we get here?
I don't know. Something about Harry Potter that got me mad.
Apparently. You got a sore spot, sir. You started talking about the time turner. I was just talking about how it's a lame trope for time travel.
I guess I'm just
I touched the one bruise on the peach that set the whole thing off.
I'm just tired of being told how to live my life by a bunch of people that can't balance their checkbook, that can't do basic human things. And they're telling me how to live my life.
I don't know that they're
like, sorry.
Yeah, but who's telling you how to live your life? They're just
oh my
saying
God.
they want to do
They're
theirs.
telling me what to like, how to do it. If I don't like this, I'm evil. If I like this, I'm not evil. You know, I'm tired of these clown people that can't function in society telling me what's right and wrong. They don't know anything. And
the
I'm tired of listening to them.
I'm tired of the cultural zeitgeist being able to dictate what is right and wrong for sure, but I don't necessarily see the correlation between that and D&D players.
Because these are the ones that tell us the world and how we're supposed to live in it now. They're the ones with the blue hair and the green hair and the things on TikTok telling everybody how to live. Mm-hmm. And at the real thing is they've spent their whole day not doing real things. They just sit in basements and live their little worlds, and then they come out thinking they're geniuses.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
and they need to go back to the basements.
Those weird squeaky wheels that are out there like, you're violating my rights. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Back to the basement with you.
But hey, there's some people out there that are good, honest, decent people that just every now and again want to roll a 20-sided dice.
And guess what? I'm fine with that because those people, when they're done, they put on their suits and go to work and do jobs and live and do things.
Yeah, I know a CPA who's a dungeon master.
And I'm cool with all those. I'm talking about the ones that literally do nothing but that. Look, if you make a living and support your family and do all that, and then you want to dress up like that on the side, God bless you. But there's people that all they do is live, breathe, and eat and sleep that life, and then they expect us to take care of them. Pound sand. Don't want nothing to do with that. Welcome to America, Jack. That being said, Chavis County Manager Bill Williams will be joining us here in just a few minutes. He's like, I don't want that segue.
It's a parabolic arc this morning. I think we want a veritable vomit comment.
I'm all for people doing what they want. I'm just so tired of people taking advantage of good-natured people. And to be honest, that's all these people are. They just suck off the teat of everybody else.
That's where I think you and I differ, is that you're using an allness statement as it's all these people. It's all-encompassing. Yes, there's a few raisin cakes out there that don't represent the majority of people that just want to enjoy a hobby and a pastime, but you're grouping them all as
guess
a whole.
What? Y'all need to wrangle these people in. It's your job because they're the ones spreading the bad thing about you because the rest of us think you're all freak shows.
That's
so
like me
reel them
saying
in.
that you're responsible for Alex Jones's opinions, and you need to reel him in because you're in the same industry.
I tell people Alex Jones is a nutball.
Right, but but then is your responsibility to rein him in?
No, but I don't defend him either.
I agree. There's nut bars.
You're the one defending him.
I'm not defending him. There's nut bars at all aspects of the spectrum of play, of things that of hobbies, of interests.
Yeah, reel them in. Because they're getting lumped together because they're all idiots. If you're sitting on TikTok in your robes and your blue hair and you're telling people how to live socially, pound sand.
Sure, and you're allowed to scroll past and find, baking videos.
And I do.
I that's not my niche. I personally like watching dudes bake cakes from the 1700s. I have weird things too.
That's fine.
I like watching marble races. I mean, we all find our little holes.
Okay with all of that.
Exactly.
Problem is, when it's your life, then you got a problem. When that's all you do is stare at marble races all day and then sit in your underpants, don't shave or clean or pay the bills or do any of these things, then it's a problem.
Well, then I guess how you and I chose to spend the pandemic are different. Because I don't know about you, but when everybody else put the balls down, I was like, I'm gonna go watch marbles race.
And I got a feeling, that's what COVID. Some of people went into hiding this and they don't want to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of like staying there, but we ain't paying your bills.
Right.
All right.
I agree with you there.
All I'm saying is I'm tired of the lazy. I'm tired of them.
I agree with that as well.
And they're using the excuses to everything else. And at the end of the day, they're just lazy. That's all they are. They don't want to do it, and that's fine. But don't expect me to bail you out. That's all I'm saying.
I agree.
Be what you want. Do it. You want. It's a free country. Accept the consequences for that. That's all I'm saying. It's no different. That's the real world. And when I grew up, that's what they taught me. Parents don't teach families that now. They teach them, someone will take care of you. There's a government program. No, get off your butt and do it yourself. No one else will. Sorry. Soapbox done. All right. It is 8:19. Sean keeps, arguing with me, and I'm like,
not arguing.
I'm just like, you're not going to.
I'm defending the allness of the whole thing. That's all that is.
There's plenty of those defenses for those clowns out there. I'm tired of defending them. Sink or swim, dudes. That's all I'm saying. I'm tired of it. I ain't a church group forever. It is 8:19. Here's your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We'll be getting sunshine today and fairly comfortable temperatures in the mid-70s with high pressure in place over our area. Wind should be fairly light. Overnight, looks like mid-40s and clear, and then we start warming up a little bit on Tuesday. We're back in the mid-80s, and it stays sunny and a little breezy. Sunshine and upper 80s for the high on Wednesday. Looks like we'll hit the upper 80s again on Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 47 here in Roswell. Humidity is at 63%. Winds are out of the north at 6 miles per hour. Nice day today, 76 and sunny. Northeast winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear. Overnight low of 48. Winds will be out of the south, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Warming back up into the mid-80s tomorrow and the next couple days. Sunny and 86 tomorrow. Winds will be out of the southwest, 5 to 10. Wednesday, sunny and 88. West winds 5 to 10 early, out of the northwest, 10 to 15 for Wednesday afternoon. Thursday, sunny and 82. And then for Friday, we're looking at 86 for a high under sunny skies and 87 for a high on Saturday and Sunday with sunny skies both there. So enjoy 76 today. So we'll warm up a little bit for the rest of the week. All right, it is 8:21. We're going to take a 3.5-minute break, and then Chavez County Manager Bill Williams, who's been patiently waiting, listen to me rant and diatribe on stuff. We'll be back on the other side. Don't go away.
This spooky season, Roswell Nissan's getting you hooked up with a few treats. No tricks required. Roswell Nissan presents Truck or Treat, Saturday, October 21st from noon to 3. A ghoulishly good time complete with games and activities for the little goblins. Free food, pumpkin painting contest, and of course, caskets full of candy. And Roswell Nissan will be giving away Graves Farm Pumpkin Patch and Hayride tickets and haunted house passes. Drawing at 3 p.m. sharp, must be present to win. Truck or Treat, Saturday, October 21st at Roswell Nissan, 2111 West 2nd. Discover a rewarding career in public service. The New Mexico Human Services Department is ready to hire for over 100 data entry positions, including opportunities to work from home. Apply and interview same day at the Rapid Hire event on Thursday, October 19th, in person at New Mexico Workforce Connection Centers located statewide. Bring multiple copies of your up-to-date resume, professional references, proof of right to work in the U.S., and dress for success. Join us October 19th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and give back to your community through dedicated service in state government. We hope to see you there. For more information, contact your local New Mexico Workforce Connection office.
Hi, I'm Dr. Keon at Carabelli Dental. Same-day smiles are what we do. My passion is helping patients chew, talk, and live with confidence. That's why I'm one of the few doctors in the U.S. who can create beautiful same-day smiles with the latest digital implant technology. This procedure is life-changing. Just ask Sean.
Hi, I'm Sean. I've been that voice that you've heard on the radio for most of my life, but I'm also a dad to 2 amazing kids. I've had a million reasons to smile, but in all my old pictures, I was never smiling. Truth is that life of improper care and being dealt a bad hand genetically left me practically with no teeth. It affected everything from the way I ate, the way I talked, and of course how I interacted with people. And that's where Dr. Keon and Carabelli stepped in. They eased my fears. They explained every step of the process in a way that I could understand, and they made me feel almost like I was part of the team. And now, I can't stop smiling. I have so much more confidence, and I love looking in the mirror now. I can't explain how much of a difference Dr. Keon's dental implant process made for me.
Our team can help you find your smile too. Come see us at Carabelli Dental, 575-622-4455.
Let the autumn fun begin at the Artesia Arts Council's 48th annual Art in the Park, Friday, October 20th, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m., and Saturday, October 21st, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. at JC Park in Artesia. Stroll through the park and find unique items from many fine arts and craft vendors, food trucks, live music, and more. Buy a chance to win a cake at the Artesia High Band Cakewalk, an annual tradition at Art in the Park. Bring the whole family to this fun fall event. Art in the Park, Friday, October 20th and Saturday, October 21st at JC Park, 1710 South 26th Street in Artesia. Paid for by Artesia Lodgers Tax.
Your locally owned and operated Big O Tires has the best deals on tires, brakes, oil changes, and more. Now through October 29th, get $70 to $100 instant savings on 4 select in-stock Pirelli, Goodyear, and Cooper tires. Plus, synthetic blend oil changes for just $24.95 and full synthetic oil changes for just $44.95. These savings won't last. Make an appointment online or head into Big O Tires today. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Hey neighbors, there's a new source for all your appliance needs in the area. We're Roswell Appliance Outlet. We sell new minor scratch and dent appliances and we'll help you save 40 to 60% off of MSRP. All come with warranty and personalized service. We also offer parts and service for your existing household appliances. We offer financing and delivery options as well. Don't make that big box store mistake. Come see us at Roswell Appliance Outlet today at 600 South Main in Roswell or call 575-363-9236.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. 47.2% of all statistics are made up on the spot. Is this true? I'd say chances are about 50%. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 25 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us officially now in studio, Chaves County Manager Bill Williams with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It was quite interesting to
listen
to the banter this morning.
Yeah, he gets a front row seat to Sean and I's dumbness sometimes. So, but of course, it's been a little bit since we've seen you. So, of course, you were last month. You got it. Just the schedule of your meetings and things didn't kind of work out for our schedule here.
Well,
so.
Last month I started the commission meeting, and then as soon as I took care of my items, I excused myself and I drove to Dallas for our second stop 30 by 30 land grab summit. We had one last year in Nebraska, and we had the second one in Dallas. This year, I'll talk a little bit about that.
So you had like an overnight bag with you as you were finishing up that meeting.
It was a couple of days down in Dallas. And, time well spent, I think. And then I'm going on vacation. I've never ridden a train. My wife and I decided,
good for you,
we're going to hop on the train and go see my sister. And
very good for
she's
you.
in California. But I promise I won't bring any of their stuff back.
Well, nice. They're going to take the train out there.
Yeah. I'll go make sure that my sister's conservative values are still in place. And make sure that she's part of the problem in California.
Is it Southern California or Northern California?
She's in Southern California.
Okay. Yeah, that's a more liberal side of the state.
Yeah. She's one of those that doesn't agree with the things that their governor does. And so I just have to go give her some more ammunition and let them fight.
We're used to that here in this part of our world too. We live in a place where we don't agree with our governor necessarily. So we've probably looked very familiar territory.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Do you train out? Do you leave out of Albuquerque or?
I'm going to leave out of Lamy. We decided that to leave your vehicle in the middle of nowhere south of Santa Fe is probably safer than to leave it in a secure parking lot in Albuquerque.
You know what? That's a true statement. So I agree.
I did find something of note when we were looking at the train and that it picks you up in Lamy, not Santa Fe. So I started reviewing a little bit of the history of the AT and SFRY. The Santa Fe Railroad doesn't actually go through Santa Fe because they started building it. That was going to be the hub, and they decided that the terrain was just a little too difficult for them to get all the way to Santa Fe. So they came south through Lamy, which is just a few miles away from Santa Fe.
Sure.
But the actual train station's in Lamy, and then they put a spur line later after the line was connected going up to Santa Fe because the cost was just too much and they needed to get it completed. So the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railroad didn't originally go through Santa Fe.
Interesting.
I thought that was really interesting.
You think Lamy would be kind of like they feel like they got the short end of the straw? It's like, why don't we get some attention here? We're the railroad place.
The Atchison, Topeka, and Lamy Railroad.
You ain't going to Santa Fe. You're going to Lamy. But anyway. Another story for another day.
Yeah, we'll have to research that.
Yeah,
a little
that'd
bit
be
more.
kind of interesting.
But we're going to do something a little different. Instead of talking about what the commissioners approved, we're going to talk about what they're going to talk about.
All right.
So this will be a little different. But before we do that,
Because the commission meeting is coming up for this month. here,
yes, it's
too.
coming up on Thursday.
Yes.
And so Friday morning, I'll be
back.
I'll be heading on the train to.
Oh, that's right. You'll be
to
on the train, so
west.
we're going to miss you this time.
So that's why.
We're doing a preview instead of a review.
Yeah, perfect, man. This alliteration, that's why you're in radio. You're so good
pay
at
me
it.
the big bucks.
But if it's all right, I'd like to talk a minute about our Dallas-Fort Worth trip to the Stop the 30 by 30 conference.
Yeah,
So-
what's some of the stuff you learned from that?
So as you know, the 30 by 30 land grab, the group that we're participating with coined that term land grab almost immediately, and so they've changed the name of it now to America the Beautiful.
Ah.
Because who could be against America the Beautiful?
That's right. It's kinder, gentler, and
Yes.
it's family friendly.
Kinder, gentler land grab.
That's right.
So there is a push. Just days into the presidency, the new administration came up with Executive Order 14,008, which was to conserve 30% of America's lands and waters by the year 2030. So that's a mere 7 years off.
I thought we're already doing that.
Well, they're working on it, yes.
Like, weren't we already on top of what we already said we're going to do before we said we're going to do it?
Well, and that's the whole thing. New Mexico has 47% of New Mexico as either state or federal lands.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the lands they want. They want 30% additional
Additional
lands.
on top of what they already
And
took.
the 17 western states, of course, have a very large amount of BLM lands anyway. Bureau of Land Management, other federal lands, just the way the United States. I'm reading a really interesting book about that. And as I learn more about it, maybe I'll talk more about it. But right now I'm going to just study. The lands back east, there are very few federal lands, except for forest lands and maybe some national parks.
Yeah.
Other than that, you don't have BLM.
The East Coast is way different. It's a lot more
Right.
stacked up, not spread out. And like you said, and unless it's like an old battlefield, it's probably not federal land or D.C.
It's a national park or
Yeah.
a wildlife refuge, and that's pretty much what they have back there.
Yeah.
But those are the people who are dictating what we do in the West and how we use our federal lands. Oh, no drilling for oil on federal lands. No grazing of those evil cattle that fart and ruin the atmosphere.
The Fiji on the East Coast, by the way.
Yeah, the Fiji on the East Coast. So anyway, that's a big part of the problem. But and our New Mexico governor, she got right on board and did an executive order that says not only 30% of New Mexico's land and water by the year 2030, but we want an additional 20% in the state of New Mexico. So she wants 50% of New Mexico tied up out of private ownership by the year 2030. And like I say, we've already got 47%. So what's the plan here? Are we going to
Remember that thing about government control again? This is how they do it.
and government controlling people.
This is exactly how they do it.
So,
and we let them, so this is how it happens.
So this came out at the beginning of the administration that's started to say in control in Washington, but I'm not sure they're in control of much of anything.
In charge.
In charge. There you go. So anyway, they came forward and said, we want 30% of the lands and water. Well, this is actually a worldwide effort. And the real goal is 50% of the world's lands and waters need to be set aside in their permanent natural state, conserved, to stop global warming. Okay, well, and almost immediately companies came out and started vying for the management rights of these lands that are set aside. Wait a minute, they're set aside in their permanent natural state. What is there to manage if it's just going to be a wilderness area?
Yeah, you're supposed to let it do its thing.
And as everyone knows, if there's a wilderness area, there's no multiple use on wilderness area.
No.
Very limited access, no motorized vehicles. If you take your pack mule in there, you have to pay for grazing. Well, you can't graze in this spot except in certain places. So I mean, there's a lot of issues with lands in their permanent natural state. Subsequently, BLM has proposed a conservation rule, which trumps the multiple use rule. So grazing, agriculture of any kind, timber harvest, mineral extraction, all of that stuff would fall in a lesser favorable category than conservation. But we can put windmills and we can put solar farms and all those things
even though they do just as much damage to the environment,
or more, as it's coming out. It's starting to show what's going on. So anyway, we did this a year or so ago in Nebraska. Governor Ricketts, at the time, I believe he's a senator now, started with some legislation to fight this. We have someone asked at our meeting in Dallas, "Oh my gosh, this is so far along. What are we going to do? How are we going to stop this? What's going on? You should have been here last year when there was only 1 or 2 items actually in place trying to stop this horrible government overreach." And now we have multiple avenues of people working in Washington and through their individual states trying to put the brakes on in this and raise awareness of what's going on. So every time we dedicate another 100,000 acres to a national park, we need to look at what the objective actually is. The recent one a couple of weeks ago in Arizona, that covers up the uranium reserves. So there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. We're picking and choosing lands to stop America from being America,
well, and
and
you
depending
wonder,
on other countries, and then you come to the government, as you mentioned a minute ago, with your hand out.
Yeah.
People are being prepared. Everybody's getting to the point where I want the government to give me something, give me something, give me something. As they take away your land and your private property rights, you'll be in line with them too, begging them to give you something.
Yeah, you get there and get it to be the mouse, begging for a little piece of cheese there from not giving you ability to go get your own cheese.
Well, I quickly want to cover what we talked about in Dallas, and then I'll move on because I don't want this to be the conspiracy theory show.
Well, you already heard me on a high horse today, and I'm easily stirred up. So
I hope that people will look into this on their own and develop their own opinions, because my opinion's my opinion, and
the world's being pulled out from under you, and you guys are going to let it happen if you don't do something about it.
So we went to Dallas and we talked more about the 30 by 30 and the things we can do to stop the 30 by 30. But my whole life, when I was a kid, I remember watching the evening news back when Morley Safer and Chet Huntley and all those guys were on there, and you'd see lines in Russia, and you thank God I live in America where that'll never happen here. Fast forward 40, 50 years, and what's happened? There's people standing in line. The grocery stores are empty, and we aren't there yet. But as the government takes more and more control, we'll see what happens. We're already trying to make it look like the cows are the problem.
Yeah, you look as people that lived and grew up in the 80s.
Right.
And that was what, that was the Russia, seeing all of what was going on in Russia and the Soviet Union at that time. And seeing, and that was the thing. Yeah. They show us that, look, this is what communism is. It's people not, and people on Earth now have not seen that.
Right.
And they don't realize what we're going back, that like what we're seeing in the world now is taking us to what we used to see in the 80s in Russia. And that's a scary thing. And the world is going, and we're just letting it happen. So you need to wake up and do something about this.
My whole life, I've looked at these crazy things that are happening from our political leadership and things that happen in Congress, and you say, how can seemingly intelligent people? I mean, they're not all idiots. There may be a few.
Yeah.
And I'm talking in every party. There's a few idiots, but seemingly intelligent people, how can they do things that are so obviously wrong for America, that hurt us all, and just continually do it and smile and
well, you know what?
And ask for your vote again.
It's one of these, and I'm getting philosophical, but like when I was younger, when I was in my 20s and things like that, and we're learning about Hitler and what was going on during the World War II era, and that was one of the things that I always had trouble wrapping my head around as a younger person. How could a whole country of people be duped by his agenda and his everything? And of course, now I sit, 30 years later, and I'm like, now I can totally see how Germany flipped, because it's what's happening now in the world here with what we're seeing and doing. It's slowly eroding, and that's what Hitler did in the he went to prison, and in the 30s he was building and basically got the side of the people on his side leading up to him taking over and everything. And by the time he's in power, he had a whole army of people thinking he was the change.
And then people started saying, oh my gosh, what am I involved in? But by then it was too late.
Exactly.
And that's kind of where we found that this 30 by 30 is a part of a much bigger thing that's been going on. It's been going on for years. I believe it started in about 1978. Now, I missed that part of it. However, in 1992 in Brazil, world leaders from the United Nations met, and they came up with something called Agenda 21.
Mm-hmm.
Agenda 21 has 17 different things that have to be done by the 21st century to make us all sing Kumbaya together as a world government.
Gotcha.
And as soon as I found out about that and found out what those 17 things were, and each of the 17 have 4 subcategories. If you do these things, this will happen. Okay. 1, you've got to let the government take over the farming and ranching and agriculture.
Here we go.
You've got to take away the private land so that people will do what you want.
Seeing that happen.
Move people to cities and away from the country so that you can control what they do.
That's what we're trying to do.
There's a whole litany of things that have been going on. And I say to myself, I've been trying to figure out how seemingly intelligent people can do this, even tried to put myself in their shoes. And this still doesn't make sense for America. This is obviously bad for our nation.
Mm-hmm.
Then I found out about Agenda 21. This happened in 1992. I found a map that shows what their idea of America would look like. And this was done by the United Nations in 1992. We've been involved. We've been full in with this thing. Shame on me, because I thought everyone else was like me in America. We look at our country, we do anything. It's kind of like brothers and sisters. We might fight amongst ourselves, but you outside folks, you need to leave us alone.
Exactly.
We'll come after you. Well, so right under our noses, this stuff has been happening for decades. And we start seeing what those 17 things are, and you say, wait a minute, I remember when that happened in 1984. I remember when that happened in 1992. Remember that thing in 2000? That's all part of this Agenda 21. It's been going on for years. And so I don't have anybody to blame but myself, because everybody else wasn't looking at America the same way we are. They bought in, just like you said, like people did in Nazi Germany, into a system. And then by the time they found out about it, it was too late.
Yeah.
So this Agenda 21 popped up on our radar. It started showing how the land grab fit right in amongst all these other things. So I encourage people to look up Agenda 21 and see just how awful and evil that is for America. The things that we're seeing now are very much a part of this thing that started back in, it's scary stuff. But I don't want to make your whole show about that.
Well, now it's one of these things where we, the people, need to wake up. If you want America to be the America you've got to do your part to ensure that. Vote. Inform yourself, vote accordingly, and do that.
Back then, they were already talking about get rid of oil and gas, go to alternative energy, green energy stuff, and they've controlled the media. All these things are a part of the whole big scenario, and it's some awful, scary stuff. And and like I say, shame on me, because I was too patriotic to notice what was going on right under my own nose.
And that's like the whole electric car thing to me is a case in point on that. Look, I think 99% of people here were like, look, I'll go an electric car, sure, if you can make it as the same cost as the gas engine and gives me the same performance as the gas engine. If you could match that, people will line up to buy that thing.
Right.
Problem is it doesn't, but they keep telling you it's going to be, and it's better and this, and to be honest, the way emissions are on brand new cars and things, they're not putting out emissions and things. The only things you see that put out smoke are older beat up cars that don't have some of the modern technology. There's so many emission standards on modern cars. They're not really the big problem that people think they are. It's older cars and things like that.
Well,
and
when America puts all the restrictions against our industrialists for smoke and control of all this, we can't have coal power plants, even though they're our coal power plants in America are among the cleanest.
Well, that's just it.
Ways to produce energy.
Natural
but
disasters.
Then you let countries like China build all the lithium batteries and the parts that you need for every car that you drive, whether it's a Ford, a Chevy, a Chinese brand or whatever.
All these
they're
folks
making all those parts, and they aren't following the EPA.
Yeah.
So the little bit of fumes that your car puts out is probably minimized greatly by the amount of pollution that goes up in China and India and those countries that get away with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, you need to go to...
And we're buying that stuff because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's cheaper because they don't have to follow the same rules
Well, and
we
this
do.
this is the logic of idiots around here. They think if they buy it from there that it's going green because it wasn't made here. I was like, it was just as dirtily made there, and impact. It's like United States could do everything exactly right, and it won't matter a hill of beans if the rest of the world keeps doing what they're doing.
Right.
And that's the point. Is you could sit here and yell at each other all you want about making, and we do try to do that. But guess what? We're not the polluters. We're not the problems. Go China. These countries that are making all your things for you, these are the ones where there's all the pollution and going on, and it's impacting the world. And that's it. It's no different than the Geneva Convention in military. Sure, the military people, we abide by the rules. Guess what? Your Hamases, they do not.
They don't.
And that's why we say the things we say.
And the United Nations, are they our friends? I'm not certain that they are. But we join the ranks, and we're upholding our end, and expecting them all to be.
There
as
would
good
not
as
be
we
a
are.
United Nations if we walked away from it.
If we walked away from it, exactly.
Yep.
And it's scary stuff. The open borders, all that stuff is part of this Agenda 21. And
we're trying to
please-
get worldized into the world order kind of thing. And
Please look that up before it's too late. I hate to say this, but I'm in the latter part of my life. I hope that it doesn't progress to where I have to see it, but I hate that my children or grandchildren will be a part of it.
Well, this country is really created to show the world how to do it. And
Right.
now that we're the best in the world at it, people want to knock us down and take what we have.
And pretend they're our friends while they help us knock it down.
And they're all saying, "Oh, it's so we can make the whole world like this," and that's not what they're trying to do. If it was the case, why do you see the rest of the world not looking like us and looking like a darker version of themselves?
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Get your head out of your butts and pay attention.
You watch all these movies where there's this dystopian future, and you always wonder. I used to wonder, why do they think that 50 years in the future, 100 years in the future, there's not going to be any cars? It's going to just be a bunch of tumbleweeds. There's no power. People are all hobos in the streets. That's pretty much starting to come into focus now, because they're going to destroy all the infrastructure and everything that we need to make it.
And I think Americans should. They always say something about stints in the military and all that. I'm like, no, not everybody should be in the military. But I think every American should see how the other shoe lives, how the other foot goes, because I guarantee the people that were sitting and doing and complaining in the streets of their blue hair and doing all that have not spent 1 minute in another country dealing with something like this whole Hamas thing, and then these lesbians and stuff defending Hamas. I'm like, do you even realize if you set one toe in the Gaza Strip with your hair doing what you're doing, would they be out here supporting you? And I'm telling you, you'd be hanging up on a lamppost somewhere out there.
Wow. Well, I guess we better get to the
I know.
agenda. I know
people need to wake up. They are supporting the dumbest things.
So at this month's commission meeting, but before I go into that, let me mention one thing that we did at last month's commission. Last month's commission meeting was mostly just kind of housekeeping stuff. That happens from time to time. We did approve the tax rates, which come from Santa Fe, but the assessor has to impose, or the commission has to tell the assessor to impose the tax rates on the county, which we did that. So that's an important thing, but it is just a housekeeping thing, because we don't create those tax rates. They come from Santa Fe, but it was done.
Right.
But probably the best thing that we did last month was we did a proclamation for Larry Hobson, who spent his life dedicated to the kids at the fair.
We had another great fair, and
we
really
did.
honoring Larry Hobson and his family, and it was a huge success. I hope folks got to see the Blue Ferris wheel when you're out there. That was really in honor of Larry Hobson. Yeah.
But we did our proclamation for Larry, and they had it hung up there at the fair, and we're really proud of that. This month we also lost a couple of other fine community leaders. We're going to do a proclamation for Rudy Barola, who was a big part of our local Boys and Girls Club for many, many years. We're going to do a proclamation acknowledging all the good that he did. Another one was Hubert Quintana, was former Chaves County manager. He was Chaves County manager for about 8 years. And the little bit of research that I did a couple of years ago, there was a period of about 10 years where a county manager would stay for a year and a half, 2 years. county manager stay for a year and a half, 2 years. The other one come back for a year and a half. They'd be gone again in another 2 years. And finally,
little musical chairs there.
Finally, they got Hubert, and Hubert stayed there for 8 years. Hubert's responsible for the modifications during his time. They modified the Chaves County Courthouse. They built the administrative center south of town. So as you know, our courthouse,
that was under his watch.
Right.
Very good.
We had been in the courthouse over 100 years, or not quite 100 years at that time, but we had been in the Chaves County Courthouse for many, many, many years. It had served us well. He says, time to build a new facility. They built a facility. Yeah. They sold the hospital during his watch, built a facility down south, and then came back and remodeled the courthouse. So I think that we're in good shape as far as being able to house the Chaves County government for many, many years. And
he was a big hand in that. So.
And other than a few small buildings along the way, we hadn't really done any kind of building of that nature. We're starting to now. We're working on.
I was say you're kind of moving into a project here where it's getting low.
We're working on the health department. Of course, we bought a new building that will house the cooperative extension service once we get it remodeled. And
but then again, this is also a part of his heritage, because with him being responsible for the building on the south, it's kind of created that county district. With the weather buildings in that area too.
It has, yeah. He was a big part of our county. When he retired from Chaves County, he didn't stop working. He continued to work for not only our community but multiple communities throughout. I started to say southeastern New Mexico, but it's really all of New Mexico. He was the executive director of let me make sure I say this right, the Southeastern New Mexico Economic Development District.
That is a mouthful.
and he spent many, many, many hours lobbying in Santa Fe, talking to legislators, trying to free up legislative capital outlay that helped all the towns, Eunice, Jowl, Roswell, Hobbs, Lovington, Roswell, and then the counties. Chaves County, we owe a huge debt to him for speaking on our behalf, having an open door to everybody in Santa Fe and going up and saying, hey, our people need a new building down here. We need a new road. We need whatever the case is. And he would go in and speak up for us. So we will do a proclamation for Hubert as well as Rudy Barola.
Nice.
Between the two of those guys, I mean, we lost a lot in Chaves, and of course Larry.
Some means you might be a little bit more popular meeting on Friday, because usually when we do proclamations like that, we get a lot of friends and family and folks that have long time been calling this county home want to come out and support that.
Yeah. We just want to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
We have another one that's going to be on, and I didn't put it up front as a proclamation. I didn't want to have them all up front, so we'll do one at the end, and that's for the National Nurse Practitioner Week.
Okay.
They reached out to me last month and asked if we could do that. It's coming up in November, and so we want to be sure that we're ready to acknowledge that.
Absolutely.
For the upcoming month.
And we the patients love our nurses. The doctors love them.
My nose is dripping this morning. The change in weather.
Yeah, allergies get me every time too. But our doctors, they can't do what they do without the nurses making them look good. That's what they do. So.
The nurses. When I was a child, and Shep was a pup. You'd go to a place and the nurse would get you seated and everything. And the doctor did everything. It's turned. I mean, the doctor comes in, spends 2 minutes with you,
and the nurse is doing all the legwork.
Doing everything. And now with nurse practitioners and whatnot, they do.
Especially if you're doing like
more
surgery and stuff now, like if you get colonoscopies and stuff. Your doctor, your surgeon, you only see them surgery day. Most of the other time, you're dealing with the nurse practitioner, who's kind of guiding you through the whole process.
Yeah, again, unsung heroes of everybody's community. They're really something. But we did that. Let's see, where was I headed with that? We're going to. It's not really a proclamation; it's a resolution. But I assume that the commission will approve once again the Operation Green Light for Veterans. As you recall, last November, the
green light bulbs. We painted or lit up the courthouse lawn green,
illuminated our courthouse and our building down south as well. We put the green lights on them in honor of veterans and all that they've done for our nation.
That's why the domes are green for veterans. I'm just kidding.
There you go.
But we'll go with that this month.
We'll go with it.
The domes are green for the veterans.
But, when we bought those lights, they bought some LED lights that you flip a switch and they kind of change colors. So, just for fun, the facility maintenance crew switches the colors on them once in a while.
Yeah.
And, so it's kind of interesting, but all the month of November, we'll make sure that our buildings are lit up green.
Good deal.
And we don't normally light the one on the south end, except during November.
During November month.
And we want to just really, we won't have a big presentation as we did last time, where we had recognized members of all the different armed services and everything on the courthouse lawn. This time it's strictly lighting the courthouse green. So
just reminding our folks as November, Veterans Day, November, and just kind of reminding folks to appreciate our veterans out there and the role they play to protect our country.
So we also had 2 public hearings, and as you know, before you can do a public hearing, you have to advertise it appropriately.
At least like 37 times.
So at last month's meeting, we got permission to publish for 2 public hearings. This month's meeting, we had 2 public hearings.
Nice.
And they were for ordinances. Now see if you can follow me on this. This is government in action. So we have an ordinance at Chaves County, Ordinance 088, which allows us to do economic development projects.
Okay.
It has all the stipulations how we can assist an entity that's going to bring jobs and profits to our county. So that's in place. And then when we enter into an agreement with someone, we pass another resolution. So I've got one for USA Beef and one for Ascent Aviation. So USA Beef was Ordinance 097.
Okay.
And that was so that we could have a project participation agreement between USA Beef, Chaves County, and then we have an IGA, an intergovernmental agreement between Chaves County and the state of New Mexico, so that we can take the funds that the state of New Mexico wants to give to USA Beef. They have to give them to USA Beef through us, and so we have to have a mechanism to do that.
Nice. All right.
So USA Beef completed all the terms of their original agreement. Their agreement was for 54 employees, and as they met certain milestones, we would give them a portion of the money that was set aside for them.
Okay.
And the monies from Santa Fe, the LEDA money, Local Economic Development Act monies, were for construction of their facility, so they could improve their ability to process beef, and they process several different kinds of meat out there. They're an amazing place. If you've not been there, see if you can get a tour, because it's awesome. I don't know if they give tours because it's such a surgically clean place, but
kind of
oh
like
my
the cheese
gosh,
plant.
it is something. So because they met all the requirements of Ordinance 097, we needed to pass Ordinance 0113 to repeal Ordinance 097, which was empowered by 088. So 3 ordinances. So we did 2 public hearings. One was to repeal the ordinance which established our project with USA Beef, because they completed all the milestones.
Right.
The second one was to repeal the ordinance that we had to put into place a project participation agreement with Ascent Aviation Services, but for quite a different reason, because they did not fulfill all the requirements that were required to receive the monies. And so as a part of that, the state had sent monies to Chaves County to dole out at the appropriate times to Ascent Aviation Services to offset their lease payments, because they were going to build a new building. And so as they met milestones for personnel, for jobs, and they have to be certain good paying jobs. I mean, it can't just be going to hire 87 minimum wage.
If you're going to get
jobs.
incentivized, you're going to really give us something for that incentive. Yeah.
And so when they reach certain benchmarks for employment, then we would give them a chunk of money that they could offset their lease payments with. That didn't happen, and so we're going to have to send back the LEDA money to the state of New Mexico. And we needed to cross our T's, dot our I's, make sure that we had the backup documents showing
Sure.
why we took money out of our coffers and sent it to the state of New Mexico
So
before
basically,
the auditors get there.
Doing the legwork, paperwork for the same thing, but two different reasons. One,
For two different
because
reasons, exactly.
because all the obligations were met and basically the agreement's done now.
Right.
Versus all the obligations weren't met, therefore the agreement's done
The
now.
agreement's done now. Exactly.
That's basically what happened. It's interesting. Okay.
So that was an interesting little thing that we had to do.
Interesting. But that's really neat because that's really how government works. And we talk about, well, why do companies get incentivized for this and that? And this is the reason why, because they bring something to the table that's very beneficial. And so the county's like, well, we're going to reward you for that if you live up to your obligation.
Right.
And in one case, it's exactly what happened and everything worked the way it's supposed to. And in one case, the two sides didn't, or one side did not live up to the agreements. Therefore, we need to get our money back.
Right. And send it back to the people that furnished the money too. That was the other piece of that.
That's how it works. So very interesting. Well, yeah, we are out of time. Is there anything we definitely want to make sure before you get to?
No, I covered the Operation Green Light for veterans. We should have a fairly light meeting on Thursday. I don't expect anything real earth-shattering, earth-breaking or anything.
But it sounds like we're going to do some recognitions and stuff. So come on out and
that's the neat
do
part.
that stuff.
And
yeah.
I think I misspoke when I said the ordinances were passed. They aren't passed yet.
They
are
will
on
be.
The agenda.
The idea is to
And-
be passed.
Yeah.
On Thursday.
I don't see any reason why they would
Gotcha.
say, "Oh no."
Well, to see if they do get passed, you're more than welcome to come
Right.
out. The
At
meetings
any
are
time.
open to the public. It'll be 9 a.m. Thursday morning at the county admin building. As soon as you walk to the main entrance, keep going forward. You'll hit the commission chambers.
Mm-hmm.
You'll bump right into the door, and then you go through it. Now you'll be in there. They usually also stream it if you go to the Chavez County Facebook page.
Right.
A lot of times they'll stream it live there too. So if you can't break away from the office, want to watch it, you can pick it up there too.
Right.
So. Good deal.
But thank you for having me. I'm sorry I've been off my schedule for a couple of times, but I think I'll be back on schedule next month.
And enjoy the family in California. It sounds like it'd be a nice time there. And maybe how much green chili do you have to mule back to her? Is she a green chili aficionado?
Yeah, I'm going to take an extra suitcase full of pecans and green chili and all the stuff that we get here that they wouldn't know.
They can't have in California.
Yeah.
They don't have the good versions of.
What do you call it? Poblano chilies or something?
Yeah.
Poblanos or something?
Whatever
they
you're
have in
fancified.
California. Ooh.
Yeah, whatever your fancy
Let's
syllable.
just get some good old New Mexico green
That's
chili.
right. We need
warm things
one
up.
syllable, green. That's all we need.
That's it.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
It is 9 o'clock. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, or Roswell, New Mexico. News in progress.
In removing the previous speaker, Kevin McCarthy.
The House has been in an unprecedented limbo since McCarthy's historic ouster. Republicans have named Patrick McHenry from North Carolina as the interim speaker, but they have been unable to coalesce around a replacement for McCarthy. On Friday, the House Republicans picked Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan from Ohio as their new speaker nominee, but he's still shy of the 217 votes he would need to be elected on the House floor. Jordan is expected to resume his hunt for votes after the House meets on Monday evening. Edwin Mora, Washington.
The nation's third largest drugstore chain, Rite Aid, has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. The chain facing declining sales along with opioid-related lawsuits. On Wall Street this morning, the Dow is up 384 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
An inexperienced politician who's also heir to a banana fortune has won Ecuador's presidential runoff election.
Supporters of President-elect Daniel Noboa celebrate as the son of Ecuador's richest man claimed victory in Ecuador's presidential election. Noboa's opponent, Luisa Gonzalez, told her supporters she welcomed Noboa as her country's new president, saying his win was a sign of democracy. In a victory speech, Noboa said his goal is to return peace to the country, to give education to the youth again, and to be able to provide employment to the many people who are looking for it. I'm Karen Chamas.
Projections show that the majority of voters in Poland's general election have supported opposition parties, those parties promising to repair the nation's constitutional order and its relationship with allies, including the European Union and Ukraine. It was a bitter and emotional campaign. News and analysis, townhall.com. Well, if nothing else, President Biden's poll numbers are holding steady.
The tally comes from the Associated Press NORC Center for Public Affairs Research. It reports only about 4 in 10 approve of how Joe Biden is handling his presidency, while 61% disapprove, numbers which have stayed consistently low over the past 2 years. Drilling down, only 32% support Joe Biden's handling of the U.S. economy, while only 31% back his management of the federal budget. Separately, the RealClearPolitics.com weekly average of polls also shows Mr. Biden at just over 40% approval, 3 percentage points worse than his two predecessors, former Presidents Trump and Obama, at similar stages in their first terms. George Williams reporting.
Russian President Putin is visiting an ally. He is expected to meet this week with Chinese leaders during a visit to Beijing. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Jason Piernos.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Monday.
Yes, welcome to it.
Yeah, not as fun as Friday, but
Yeah, it's not.
It's Monday. At least the weather's nice.
It's a lot more fun after Roswell High.
Oh yeah,
Squeaked one out on Friday.
yeah. It's gonna be gonna make a lot. It's gonna make this playoff run pretty interesting here as we get in there. So.
Undefeated on the season, so it'll be interesting to see how far the Coyotes can push it.
Well, if they can somehow keep Ortiz and Roswell at the 1-2, then we'll see. Then they'll see each other in the championship, unless one of the teams, get
Just
upset
saying,
during the playoffs.
I foresee a real rematch, and I have a feeling that with that rematch, there's going to be a lot of blood in the water. There's going to be a lot of vengeance sought.
Here could be the wrench in the work. Say Goddard goes in and wins. They're the 3 seed, by the way. Does that put them? And see that I could see that because put it this way: 2 of these teams are going to face each other before the final, before the championship. Because if they're 1, 2, and 3 respectively, 1 and 2 can't be in the same side of the bracket.
Right.
Can't. Not even the crookedest of people could justify putting 1 and 2 on the same side of the bracket. So it'd be very interesting to see how they pull this one off. But because and I don't care, there is a history. Don't tell me there isn't. Of when these NMAA and the coaches and all that, they don't like it when it's an all South particularly all southeast New Mexico.
Yeah. There's a reason they call us Extreme West Texas. I'm sorry. We're drinking town with a football problem.
It makes the state salty when that happens. There's a funny video. Speaking of Hitler, I've been saying that name a lot lately.
Speaking of Hitler.
There's a funny video of a movie. I think the first time I saw it was about 10 years ago. And it was a movie from an old World War II war movie, and there's Hitler, and so it's a scene where Hitler's down in the bunker with his German plan, and he's doing his German and yelling and all that. And so I know you've seen it too.
Sure.
And so what they've done to it is they've dubbed their own versions of things this Hitler clip. And one of the funnier ones was the whole NMAA and why teams from the South. Why is it every time a team from the South? And it's doing this whole thing that's really funny. I saw the clip. First time I saw it was about 10 years ago. But
it's true, though. I'm sorry. The fact of the matter is, we breed good football down here.
Yes,
in
that is
southeastern
true.
New Mexico.
Yeah. So that. But I've also seen that same clip done with other same type of things,
right.
Not related to sports or anything, just other personal views, But it was funny. But the one that always stuck in my head was the one about football in the South and, and the Hitler rap. Why is it every time the team from the South in the stupid championship game?
When you put that accent to it, it makes it even better.
It does.
Yeah.
It's really good.
You gotta slap that on there.
But anyway, so we'll be very curious to see. But it's going to be it's an exciting time for high school football.
Indeed.
And, of course, don't forget, Friday night's going to be action-packed as well. The Roswell Coyotes will be hosting the Mayfield Trojans here at the Wool Bowl Friday night. And then Goddard travels to the Bulldog Bowl Friday night for a big matchup against Artesia there. We'll have both of those games, live streaming video and on La Radio with audio.
Perspective.
And
once again this
all
week.
three perspectives, your Goddard perspective, your Roswell perspective, and your Artesia perspective. 106.1 will have your Goddard perspective for the radio for that game against Artesia. 990 AM, KSVP Artesia. You have kind of trouble picking it up here in Roswell at night because it powers down. But if you go to the KSVP app, you can listen to it that way if you want the Artesia perspective.
You just want to hear it. But
if you just want to hear it. And then, of course, we have video, KSVPTV.com. Go to the Bulldogs channel to hear the Bulldogs perspective, the Rockets channel, hear the Rockets perspective. And then go to the Coyotes channel if you want to watch the Roswell Mayfield game with Art and Kelly calling that one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's all Friday night. We'll have it here for you. We will have Elliot Rodriguez this hour joining us here. We don't have to wait till Friday for him. He'll be in just a few minutes from Loan Depot. He pops in once a month to give us sage advice when it comes to purchasing a home. And he's the guy you see before you see the real estate agent to go pick your home. He's the guy that talks the money, that says, we can get you in at a house at $200,000, and then you go look for a house around there instead of looking for a $500,000 house, and then go see Elliot. And it's like, you can't.
That's not going to happen.
So we'll talk with Elliot here in just a little bit. Something else I was going to mention. I just completely spaced out on.
I watched a little 7-minute, actually it was a 10-minute documentary on the making of something that is incredibly iconic, and I figure if you listen to just the music, you'll get it. Let's see if it's just the music.
Well, that was the HBO thing.
Well, it is. But, okay.
That I know.
All right. Anybody who grew up in the 80s,
I still know
90s, knows this intro.
The intro.
Where the slow pan over the city. So I watched the making of this.
Well, there's different versions of it.
Well, this is the one where they slow pan over the city and then over the countryside.
Right, but that same version, there's an extended one where it starts way out like in the galaxy, and then it slowly pans to the city.
Right.
They have versions of it where it just kind of starts coming into the city.
Then there's one that starts in a living room where a guy turns on a TV.
But there's a full one that goes way out to the universe.
But the way they actually made it, it's all practical. They had these model makers, essentially like the train yard at the fairgrounds, just make this 2-scale model of
probably
the
like
city.
Star Wars. Like the first Star Wars was
and they had they intricately put lights in all of the vehicles. It was 1,000 headlights.
It's fun to look at.
It's insane.
Yeah,
because then they had this camera and they just slow pan over it to the skyline
what the part that I loved about it, because it was well done and everything, but it also evoked the feeling because and this was a thing, kids, back before you had Netflix and you could watch whatever you wanted, wherever you wanted. HBO, they used Saturday night as their night to premiere their big blockbuster movie.
Still
Every
do, by the
Saturday
way.
night they were but it was more hype.
Oh,
then.
of course.
Like it was a thing. Like in the early 90s, if you weren't watching HBO on Sunday nights for Sopranos, like that was the thing to do. You were like the bougie thing. It's like you catch Sopranos or whatever was on Sunday nights at that time on HBO. But Saturday night was, and they always started on the East Coast. It was 8 o'clock. They would start, and they'd start with that intro that you're talking about. And that time when you see them panning through the streets, and you're like, oh, we're about to get ready for the blockbuster movie.
It's such a build.
Yeah, it
It's
was.
like the slow music, and then you finally get up to space, and you zoom. And I always was like, I don't want to go in the O. I want to go with this. Like, I want to go a different way than they're going to make me go. But then you zoom into the O, and they explained how they did that with practical effects. Like, they have 2 different lights outside of the O. Because they actually built a 2-scale HBO thing.
The big HBO logo.
They put the camera inside the O, and they use this, like, 2-light thing with, like, moving plexiglass to make that
That's pretty cool.
laser effect.
Yeah, this is all before CGI, high-techy CGI and all that. That's pretty cool.
It's real neat stuff. It's geek stuff.
But I grew up in that era where you just Saturday night, boys, the HBO movie.
You felt the anticipation. You're just like, oh.
And it was bad the weeks that it was a bad movie that you didn't want to watch, like Out of Africa or some chick flicky movie. You're like, oh, come on, man. I want to see the He-Man movie, or I want to see whatever it was.
Our feature presentation.
Unforgiven.
Wait, Get Shorty? Come on.
Although I like Get Shorty.
It was fine.
I like those kind of movies.
It was fine. I was a kid when it came out. It wasn't for me. Having watched it later, it's
to be
much
honest,
better.
it was a poor man's Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, absolutely.
Like you wanted Quentin Tarantino, but you couldn't get this. So
your Wish.com.
You Get Shorty. Your GoBot, if you will.
Your Temu Tarantino.
Yeah, that's the thing. I love doing the GoBot Transformer reference, but that doesn't work anymore. You're like, GoBot? What are you talking about?
GoBot.
Like, back in the day, kids, there was marketing. Transformers won, obviously. But there was the knockoff, cheaper version called GoBot. And they went the way of the dodo. They were the Betamax / HD CD or whatever they call that, DVD, HD DVD, whatever it is. The losers of those. Yeah, the losers.
It had a time and place in history, doggone it. Now you come back here and
So
school you.
Blu-ray beat it.
It did. Doesn't necessarily mean it was better. Just means it was better advertised.
He's the guy with the laser disc player.
He was. Actually, no, my uncle had a Laserdisc player, and that thing was amazing.
I got 86 pieces of vinyl.
He used to get mad at me because I take his Laserdisc and go, whoa, 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 whoa. He's like, stop that. I didn't know it warped the picture. My bad.
Yeah. Laserdiscs were great, but you can't tuck them under your arm and go to your buddy's house with them. They just weren't that.
Not as
and like you said, they were so delicate. Like the discs themselves were so delicate.
It was like a foil sheet.
Yeah, and it was like a gold-looking record, kind of, because it was big as a record.
It was, yeah.
And
no, it was bigger. It was like
a little bit bigger. Yeah,
those things were huge.
I had a friend that had one, and all I got to do was look at it. We watched Star Wars on it once.
What was crazy? Still not that much space. Like it was a 2 Laserdisc set for Terminator 2.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, his dad was way into it
because that was the only disc he had.
Yeah, but he treated it like it was like $1 million device, and so you want to see the Laserdisc player? You ain't worthy of seeing the laser. Like that mindset.
Yeah. But that was my cool uncle with the jet ski and the jukebox in his garage.
Yeah.
So he had to have the thing,
Yeah. No. This was my neighbor's friend, and to be honest, we weren't that close of friends because his dad had a Laserdisc player. We kind of buddied up to him a little bit more, so he's kind of a jerk.
That to this day is why I'm not an early adopter. I'm like, let's see how this pans out.
All right, Ellie Rodriguez is here with his Laserdisc player and his HD DVD ready to help you out. Before we do that, let's get you up to date with the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We'll be getting sunshine today and fairly comfortable temperatures in the mid-70s with high pressure in place over our area. Wind should be fairly light. Overnight, looks like mid-40s and clear, and then we start warming up a little bit on Tuesday. We're back in the mid-80s, and it stays sunny and a little breezy. Sunshine and upper 80s for the high on Wednesday. Looks like we'll hit the upper 80s again on Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 52 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity's at 56%. Winds currently out of the north at 7 miles per hour. Nice day today, sunny and 76. Winds will be out of the northwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. By the way, our cool day this week is today, 76. We're going to be in the 80s for the rest of the week. Tonight, clear skies, overnight low of 48. South winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tuesday, sunny and 88 for a high, or 86 for a high tomorrow. Sorry, my glasses aren't thick enough. South winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear tomorrow night with an overnight low of 56. South winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Wednesday, sunny, highs around 88. West winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday, sunny and 82. And then Friday and Saturday and Sunday, we're warming back up. 86 for a high on Friday under sunny skies. Sunny and 87 for Saturday, and sunny and 87 for Sunday as well. So enjoy 76 today. So we'll be in the 80s the rest of the week. All right, it is 9:18. We're going to take a 3.5-minute break, and then Elliot Rodriguez with Lone Depot will join us on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Honey, read this. Seems Councilman Barry Foster didn't pay his water bill for over 2 years, owing almost $2,000.
How? They would have cut his water off.
State mandates the water service couldn't be cut during COVID.
This says the Fosters make around $150,000 a year, and they refuse to pay their water bill?
Since Barry Foster's been on city council, city debt has tripled. With rising crime, he voted against hiring 5 new police officers.
And the city delayed vital repairs to our drinking water system. Now, repair costs have skyrocketed.
It's time for a change.
Change by voting for Carlos Marujo.
He's a supervisor at Eastern New Mexico U. Carlos knows how inflation impacts Roswell's working families.
Carlos Marujo will demand Roswell live within its means. He respects taxpayers.
We can't afford 16 years of Councilman Barry Foster.
Our Values PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising. Paid for by Our Values PAC. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Need new windows for your home? Beware of the sales gangster. Jennifer from Trustmark Roofing and Windows here. A sales gangster is a window salesperson with the mobster mentality. They intimidate, bully, and fast talk you into buying their less than quality windows during a 3-hour pitch. Think I'm kidding? Call a few window companies and see for yourself. Or you can skip the sales gangsters and call Trustmark. We have fair, no-nonsense pricing on our premium windows, and our appointments take only about 60 to 75 minutes. Just long enough to listen to what you need, show you your options, answer your questions, and give you a straightforward quote. Then it's up to you. We can take a no just as easy as a yes, but I'll guarantee you this. No sales gangsters. Sound fair? Call Trustmark Roofing and Windows for your no-obligation spring window assessment. 575-755-7663 or visit TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Have you ever had someone do something kind and out of the ordinary for you? How did that make you feel? I know for me, it brightens my day. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for the Joy of Marriage.
Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not get tired of doing what's right, for after a while we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't get discouraged and give up." I've learned when you don't know what to do, just do the next right thing. Keep sowing good things into your spouse and your family. Be patient. God promises He will give you a harvest. It will make a difference. A successful farmer just keeps on working and expects to have a great harvest.
I know when my husband brings me flowers, it blesses me. So do something unexpected for your spouse. It will pay off.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
Oasis Computers has been Roswell's trusted source for home and small business computers for over 30 years, and they continue to be your best resource for computer repairs, operating system upgrades, web root managed antivirus, special orders, and more. Oasis Computers is now open from 8 to 1, Monday through Friday to better serve you. Service calls by appointments and after-hour appointments are available too. Stop by Oasis Computers at 1703 North Garden or call or text 575-625-9141 for even faster service.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Did you know you share your birthday with at least 9 million other people in the world? Your birthday isn't feeling so special now, is it? Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 22 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, Elliot Rodriguez is back with Loan Depot. Good morning, Elliot.
Good morning, Roswell.
How's life in your world this morning?
It's been an interesting weekend for me because all I've been doing is training, licensing, and I felt like my brain doesn't have enough.
a lot of time staring at computer screens this weekend.
Dude, I don't know what happened to me this time because I usually do it but I guess I've been very busy.
Yeah.
So I did it at the last minute, but I don't know if I was just tired or I was just reading slow this time because it took me longer. It's like
it just wasn't coming easy to you this time.
I was like, it wasn't coming. Thank God that I have all these years doing what I do because I think I rushed it in the end, but I still did what I was supposed to do.
Experience pulled you through.
No, I was just like, what the heck? What is it taking this long? I cannot do no more. So it's like I'm moving fast.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to walk away from things and then come back and then your brain just kind of...
That's what I end up doing a couple of times because it's like...
Very weird how a brain works like that.
I told my wife, do it, and she was a trooper. Talking about being a shit leader.
Yeah.
And being your corner because I was supposed to cook dinner yesterday and everything. I didn't. Because
you shirked on your house duties.
I sure did. Mm-hmm. And she was a trooper. She pushed me through it. Good. Because I was like,
that means
I wanted to throw the white towel.
That means you're on double duty tonight. You know that, right?
You and that. I already like. Okay, I had to make it home early.
Yeah, you're on double duty.
I need to cook today. And all that. It's like, no, but it's been great. The market is hot. What is happening is just that literally there's plenty of homes, but plenty of homes that are too expensive for folks.
Sure.
And there's not enough homes in the 150, but they're still popping up.
Sure.
Okay, so people that might think like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to afford a house.
They'll
come up.
I'm about to say, are we starting to see the prices kind of level off a little bit here? Because you had that boom going on during COVID, and obviously you're not getting the prices for a home today that you were 3 years ago during that crunch time.
That's very true. So it's kind of hard, okay, because what has happened, I think what is going to happen, and I was reading the forecast of what's going to be happening for the next 6 months to a year or so. And remember we were talking about like Survivor, the strong will survive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of that
we're starting to see
the
cream coming to the crop here.
Exactly.
To rise to the top.
So the people that work hard, like are really there for customers. I think they will survive. The ones that don't work so much, they think everything comes easy. It's not going to happen. And the fact of the matter is the rates may plateau somewhat, but they're still going up a little. I mean, the fact of the matter is I seen up to almost 8.5. Okay. So it depends on the programs, depends on the person's, scenario, but I had seen it that high. And I was surprised about that because I kind of jump. And when the Feds did other adjustments,
sure,
everything is just costing so much money, and they get into the ceiling that they're just pushing it. So what I think is going to happen is they're going to push it so high into whatever goes on, and then what happened last week with Israel and everything. So there's a lot of things happening that it's not on our best interest because no matter what, even though we're not involved literally in there, it's affecting all of us just
everything
the same.
Impacts something in some way, shape, or form. Plus, you're also seeing, I'm sure, too, where people that bought houses 8 years ago that locked in at those little 3.9% financing rates, they're not too keen on walking away from those right now.
They're not going to want to. But
I'm one of those people, and I'm like, there's no way to move.
But what is going to happen, and it happens in many places, there's going to be the market is still going to be hot, and only few states that are like very solid. Like for example, Arizona. Okay, I forgot the one in the south. I don't know if it's Alabama, whatever. But the point is, there's a few places that they're not going to even feel it because there's the market is so robust as far as how much homes are available.
Sure. Okay. Well, imagine even if you look up like North Dakota and that area, they're doing marketing to bring people there. They're begging for people to come there and work.
I mean,
and so I imagine housing there is probably pretty cheap.
Yeah. So some of that stuff is going to continue happening. So what I'm seeing and with the forecast that they're talking about, the market is going to continue. It's going to plateau somewhat, but it's going to be so expensive. They're not going to be homes. So that means they're going to be more homes So the inventory is going to be limited, but it's going to be, the prices are going to still high. You know, so when it starts getting to the positive, maybe you'll see a few more homes coming into play, and some of the ones like, okay, I'm ready to put it in the market or whatever. But it's still happening. You know, like I always said, you know, like Roswell's like in a little bubble, okay? But I think it's still affecting us no matter what, but not the way that all the places are. Let's be realistic. Albuquerque is crazy, okay? Do you think the seller's going to contribute something on your behalf to buy your house?
They don't need to.
They're not going to have to.
Yeah, they have no need to do that.
Because there's not enough homes, and wherever they put their houses in the market, everybody's fighting for the same home.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, it needs a remodel. That's on you. I don't care.
Exactly.
I'm going to get what I'm going to get for it. Yeah.
I had not done so many repo deals like from VA, okay? Well, guys, my fellow American friends in the armed forces, what's going on with the repos? Because there's a lot of VA repos. I don't know what's going on. But I've seen a handful of repos. You know, if you're having problems with, you know, your payments, you need to talk to your mortgage company. Don't let it just go.
Absolutely. Okay? Yeah. That's going to follow you the rest of your life.
Yeah. There's things that you can do.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't.
Because once you get out of your financial situation and you're trying to establish again, that default on your home loan is going to murder any chance for a recoup, unless you know that it's just that's the problem with going bankrupt and things like that, is that sticks with you for a while. You got to you got to dig yourself out. Yeah, the debt relief is there, and that's a huge weight, but people don't want to give you credit again when you bailed on the first time.
So do everything in your power to make sure you don't lose them.
Yeah,
you know, so because I don't like hearing people losing houses. I just want to knock on wood that a lot of my customers are not having problems like that. I actually have a call. I didn't have a call. I got a lead from the system, and I reached out to the guy, and the guy's telling me, I just got laid off. The company that brought him here laid him off. That's so beautiful. You have to love this nonsense. But
welcome to the world. Yeah, exactly.
But it's just crazy. But I did, you know, let him know that I'm going to look into things to help him and to make sure that he doesn't lose his house.
Sure.
I think they'll be fine, but he probably a little worry, you know, so he needs a little help. So I don't mind helping my customers.
And we're lucky.
This is what I do.
We're in a market where you
got opportunities. There's
you won't get your lunch eaten if you're modicumly smart at all buying your house here. Unfortunately, you get in some of these big cities, and next you know you're paying way more because you want the house. And then when you're stuck with this thing, and no one's willing to pay you what you paid for it because they don't want it like you wanted it.
Correct.
And so you're going to get your lunch eaten. At least here, that's not going to happen unless you really went out of your way to do something like that.
So you could do everything in your power, and just call your lender.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like when everyone's telling you don't do this and you did it anyway, then probably you're going to have problems.
I know. And let me tell you, folks, listen to your real estate agent. They're there to help you.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, they're not telling you go and spend this much because they want. I don't know. Depends on the agent, but most agents, they're going to help
upstanding, honest agents.
You know, they're going to help you because that's what they're there for. Trust me, the guys, people showing you houses and you don't buy a house. You know, that doesn't mean that they're making money. Okay, they are pushing to make sure that you get a home. Okay,
they get paid when you close.
Exactly. So they don't make money because you go and see 20 million houses, and then you jump from one agent to another. Don't do that to the agent either, please.
Right.
I mean, that's just wrong in so many levels. But
absolutely.
If somebody's helping you, unless they're just not taking care of you correctly, and you just upset with them, and then you guys are not matching, if you may, okay, that's a different story.
But most of these get it too, because let's face it, this is the biggest purchase you've ever made in your life, 9 times out of 10, and you're going to have questions.
No, but I feel bad because I get agents that tell me, that was my customer. They went with another agent. Like I feel bad. It's like, what's going on?
Life happens.
That happens. But folks, the first thing you need to do is talk to somebody like me and get pre-qualified.
Yeah.
Don't go out there looking at houses where you don't even know if you can buy it.
Going blind is the worst thing you can do on that.
That's the worst thing, because you're going to get discouraged. Okay?
Even if you think you know.
Yeah.
Well, but there might be a wrinkle in there that you didn't realize that Elliot knows or finds, and that's going to change your whole game plan there. So seeing a guy like Elliot first, and that way you know. And here's the other thing, and this might be the other. This is where I would say Elliot probably separates himself from the others. Elliot will tell you the truth here. He'll go in and be like, look, I ran the numbers, and you financially, I can qualify and get you in a $400,000 house. However, if you want a car and nicer furniture and things, you might want to look at a house $250,000.
Correct.
You can afford the $400,000, but you can't afford anything else.
Now, lately, they're not even letting me do that, dude.
Really?
Well, everybody's fighting.
Yeah.
Everybody's fighting for the same house.
Sure.
And that's the problem, okay? So, folks, get pre-approved. Okay, I'll tell you your max, and then we'll talk, and I'll tell you, hey, maybe you shouldn't go any higher. Maybe stay right there so you have a little breathing room. The fact of the matter is, if you can buy a $400,000 home, maybe you should buy a $350,000. Okay, and let's be honest, folks. In 6 months, a year, or a year and a half, 2 years, whatever it takes, the market's going to get a little better. Then you can refinance and you'll be at a better position.
Sure.
So if you can afford a home now, that means you will be better off later as well.
Absolutely.
But then,
and you're going to get your money back and make money.
Because you
on
don't
that
lose
house.
no money. Let's be honest. If you're renting or you're living with somebody, and you're not moving forward in any positive way.
Yeah, and anytime you do upgrades or remodels or improvements,
you're just making your home better.
As long as you don't do it poorly, it will increase the value of that home. So you're gonna that $350,000. Odds are you live in it 5-10 years, you'll probably sell it for close to $400,000 by the time you're done.
Yeah, just get with me and I'll do an application.
Yeah,
I'm talking about doing applications. Because we haven't talked much about what to do. Truly, what to do. Follow the instruction of the application. Take your time. Don't rush it.
Sure.
Be as accurate as possible. All right. So let's talk applications real quick, because a lot of people are missing the bus because they're not waiting on the bus station. They're walking to the bus station and they're not sitting there waiting for it.
Gotcha.
That's the problem, folks. If you don't do an application and you don't do everything right, you're gonna you're gonna miss the bus. So do the application. It's very straightforward, simple. Try to save some money. You don't have to save tons of money if you're not capable of. That's okay. But do the application. Very simple. All your personal information, 2-year history.
Yeah.
I need 2-year history of employment. I need 2-year history of where you're living. Okay? You're renting, living with family, whatever it might be. Need 2-year history. Very important. Not a year and a half and hope for the best. 2-year history.
Yeah.
If you have gaps between jobs, that's not a big deal. Okay. And then after we get all that done and your credit score is there, there's programs. If you don't have a lot of money, there's programs that I can help you with. Guys, folks, right now, today, there's almost no excuses for the people that don't have no money. If they qualify for a loan, they may qualify for programs that help you buy the house.
Absolutely.
Okay. I got right now a program that I can do both. You could get money from down payment and closing costs from the state of New Mexico and even from me as the lender.
It's kind of like college.
I mean, it's crazy.
If you go to college,
remember,
the first thing you tell you is go into the financial aid office because you have no idea what might be free money out there.
Exactly. Remember,
it's no different here.
When you and I used to go to school, I was like, but I don't have no money for books. I don't have no money for
go to the financial aid office.
Financial aid.
Fill out that FAFSA form and start throwing as many applications out there, and you might get $100 here, $100 there. Next thing you know, you got a semester paid for.
Exactly. So
it's no different here.
Don't be afraid. Let me tell you something right now. Okay, if you go conventional, okay, I got a program that me as the lender, the company would actually gift you 2%. Okay. Of the sale price of the home that you're purchasing. If you mix that program with the state of New Mexico, first-time home buying from the New Mexico Financial Authority, guys, you guys can get up to 4%, okay, for the down payment and closing costs. Okay, so let's do some math. Now you have 6% literally from the air, just came from nowhere. If you qualify for those programs.
Absolutely.
That is huge.
And you really won't need it again because now you're in the game. Because once that happens, because every time you pay a mortgage payment, that's investing back into you instead of you paying rent, investing in someone else's future.
And let me tell you more. The 2% that I give you is a gift.
Yeah.
Literally $1,000, guys.
And that house is your nest egg.
You don't have to pay it back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just... Now, you have to qualify for the program, of course.
Sure.
Now, if you cannot get both, at least you can get the state of New Mexico 4%.
Absolutely.
And if you do the right negotiation, and if you put me, talking to your real estate agent, okay, guess what? You can do the right thing, and you could probably buy a house with no money down, or maybe very little money down, and maybe save you money that you have in the bank.
But
So when you move into the house, you got some
with that
some
first
money.
time lower interest rate, though, you're actually putting more of the principal back
And that
into
is another
your
thing.
other thing. So you're getting more basically equity in that home quicker.
Mm-hmm.
That way, so in 5-10 years, you might have several $1,000s you can put towards a new home here.
Oh, let's-
And so it really is the gift that keeps giving.
Mm-hmm.
If you pay your payments on time and do all the things Elliot's going to tell you to do, you're going to come out smelling like a rose if you just listen.
Oh yeah,
sometimes.
let me tell you more. If we don't do the conventional, that's what I was talking conventional with the 2% and the other 4%. If you don't qualify for that, because you have to qualify for these things, and I will tell you what to do. Okay, so if you don't qualify for that, then we'll go FHA with the same program. You just don't get the 2%. The fact of the matter is, you're not paying a bunch of points. Okay, and you're getting 4%, and 4% for your closing costs and down payment.
You see what it is normally? It's a lot higher right now.
That's crazy. And
Yeah.
guess what, guys? Then your interest rate is lower than anything out there in the market right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like I said, don't wait too long. Don't be walking. Sit down and wait for the for the bus, because if you miss the bus, guys, the rates are still increasing. So that means the New Mexico Financial Authority is going to still start increasing their rates. Okay,
sure,
and catch up with the market. If the market is getting worse and worse, it's the same thing is going to affect it to that. So take advantage of it now.
But you're in, and then you're locked in, and
yes.
then
the moment that I got you in, and we reserved that,
and here's
it don't matter what's happening in the market.
And
you
here's
got
the
that.
beauty of it, and I'm thinking with this program, this also works. Is say 5 years from now, you're still in that house. Interest rates have dropped a couple points. You get to refinance and get back in there.
There you go.
And next thing you know, your mortgage payment drops down a couple $100 a month because you're paying
exactly.
less on the thing. It's getting you in the game. And you say this every time. If you need a house right now, then now's the time for you to get a house.
Don't if folks, if you're listening, if you're out there and you're thinking, I'm gonna wait until it gets back to 3.5.
Right.
Guys, I'm just gonna be honest. I had no idea when that's gonna happen, or if he's gonna ever.
He doesn't have that crystal ball.
I don't know if we'll see it in our lifetime or what. Okay, we'll see. Okay,
Yeah.
But I can tell you that in reality, with the talks and the forecasts and stuff like that, if we see 4.5 or 5%, that'll be great. Okay, so I don't know how soon we're ever gonna see 3.5% again.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm riding my gravy train to the end.
Seriously, folks. So just do the best you can now.
It would take a really hard thing to get me out of my house right now.
Now, I'm talking about doing the application and putting all that information, folks. I'm gonna check everything. And all the information you put in there, I have to verify everything, folks. Okay, so if you do everything I tell you,
well, it's think of Elliot
fine.
like your lawyer. Okay,
I say that every day.
When you talk to your lawyer,
I'm your attorney, dude.
You give him the good, the bad, and the ugly, because if he finds it out through someone else other than you, it's a lot harder for him to fix it.
I know.
So if you're upfront and honest with him on everything, so if you walk in and say, "I make 6 figures," and he does a simple check, turns out you don't. That's going to make it hard, or you've got a lot of default credit out there, or whatever. You know what? And if you give him the skinny, let him work and do his magic. And at worst, what he'll say is, "Look, I can't do it today, but do this, this, and this, and come see me in 6 months." And guess what? We're going to be in that window again. So be honest and upfront, because at the end of the day, the more honest you are with Elliot, the more he can fight for you to get what you want. So by
100%,
by lying to him or kind of omitting information, actually makes his job harder, which makes the ability for you. Like if you tell him from the upfront, he can work. Like you said, there's programs that we get it. People's lives aren't perfect credit. No one's near that. And there's ways to
if
work.
that was the case, gotta be rich right now.
So really the proof is he needs to establish that you're trying to fix this and give people want to give you a second chance, but you got to show you're worthy of the second chance.
Now, if you have a little bad credit, and you're renting, at least make sure that you're renting and paying rent on time as well. Those things still
establish
affect.
a track record.
You have to have a good record, at least on your utilities and your rent. If you got those things, and I can get you the credit score to get you the program, okay. I'll make sure that you get it home. Okay, that's my word that I can give anybody out there. You allow me to do what I do. Okay, you do what I ask you. You follow my lead.
And if you have your credit history,
after 7 years, the bad stuff goes away. But if you have an establishment of good credit history, you're replacing that stuff that goes away every 7 years with the good stuff. And guess what? You're going to start seeing your 500s go to 700s. And that's what's going to happen. But this is what Elliot's talking about is, you may have destroyed your credit, but you can fix it.
Yeah.
If you
do the right thing.
You've got to get to a point where you say, all right, I've got to make sure that the bills going out each month are getting paid and doing that stuff. Not over credit, not putting a credit card for every time. If you're getting a credit card to pay for another credit card, you are in deep kimchi on this one.
Now,
you're going to have to dig yourself out of that.
Let me throw you a curve for those that are listening. Okay, you haven't done no credit. You do everything cash, but you've been paying rent on time. You pay utilities. You go to the gym. In other words, you're just a normal consumer, and you do well. But you have not used credit cards. You don't have no credit scores. That doesn't mean you cannot buy a house, folks.
Yeah, they want to establish that you have a credit history.
Let me tell you something. Come to me, call me. If you're out there, you've been saving a little money and this and that, but you do everything correct for you, and you pay your rent, you pay your utilities, all that stuff, folks. Call me, and I'll tell you how you can still buy a house, and you'll be surprised.
Back when I was a young man in that point of the world where you're starting to be on your own, one of the things they used to tell me, and this is probably not true anymore because no one owns these anymore, was get a home phone, get a landline. You get a landline that establishes you as someone.
Yeah, because back in the day, they used to connect to that stuff.
So when I first got in the military, got my first duty state, first thing I did was I got a landline in my barracks there, and then I learned the hard way that credit can screw you up if you don't do it right, and then I had to fix it and get it bailed out. Now I'm good, but I learned the hard way.
And folks, if you go and get a Verizon phone, a Sprint, whatever, okay, and you disagree with them and you don't pay them, that's the wrong answer, folks. You have to pay them.
Well, and here's the thing.
It's going to be right there showing that, hey, you owe money to Verizon. And you know what is funny? I get a lot of people that owe money to some kind of telephone company.
And it's
or whatever.
usually like nickel and dime stuff.
I mean, it's usually like $500, $300. And I bet you money it was $150, $200. But you just fought him, and you just, you told your one guys you're not winning when they messing up with your credit. Okay? Because now that 200 just became 300 or 400 or 500, whatever, because
late
they
fees
keep
and
passing
penalties.
it. Oh,
and
yeah, it's
sold
crazy.
it to a different creditor and all that. Yeah,
I know how it is to pay debt that you don't like or whatever, and you don't feel like it's right. The fact of the matter is, you sign a contract with them or whatever, just pay it, or either settle with them or something.
Yeah,
okay.
It's like bad pizza. You're going to get heartburn later. It's going to come back and get you. So take care of that business when it's done.
Now, talking about doing the right thing. Okay. All right. So we just mentioned about doing an application, getting you approved, and that there's programs out there for you. Okay. Call me. Let me tell you what programs and where you fit.
Absolutely.
Okay? I'm going to give you different choices. It's up to you what you decide.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that is very important is I'll give you a list and I'll tell you things that I'm going to need from you. That doesn't mean you don't give those things to me. Okay? That means you go on the contract and you still haven't given me your pay stub.
Yeah.
I was even telling...
He can't put these things into play
it's just
unless
funny.
you give him that
I was
stuff.
telling a real estate agent, you know what? I'm getting to the point that I'm not going to give you a pre-approval unless they give you the stuff.
Right.
But the fact of the matter, by law, I cannot do that. But I almost feel like I want to hold back because it's like like we were saying, you omitted information. You tell me you work full time, and now you're not working full time. You're really working like 35 hours or 30 hours. That is not what you tell me.
Sure.
Okay.
But here's the one guy that's fighting for you. That's why you got to be honest.
I have to know everything.
Yeah.
Like he said, I'm like an attorney. Okay. Everything stays here. Okay. I'm fighting for you. I don't even have any other agenda but to help you buy a house.
Sure.
Okay. So you have to follow with that list and give me all those things as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And,
you can't treat Elliot like he's your dad trying to figure out if you're smoking in your bedroom or not. This is not how this works.
That's a good way to put it. No, it's true, folks. If I send you a list, look at it this way. Look at it at the end of the world is happening. And if you don't do these things, the end of the world ends. So I give you a list. If I give it to you today, give it to me like I gave it to you a week ago.
Right.
All right? Because I need it now. And then I can go and calculate and verify my findings. That's the other thing, okay? By doing that, I verify my findings. And I've been doing this long enough. The only time, And I want to say thank you, Lord, and I'm knock on wood. You know, I have a couple hiccups this year because everybody's just going bananas. Okay, but the fact of the matter is, I'm not a lender known because of losing deals. Okay, I'm a lender known because I fix it and make sure it happens.
Sure.
Okay. Everybody comes to me for that, and that's why we keep talking about Harry Potter before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, if anybody knows Harry Potter, you know, when Baltimore, you know, was fighting Harry Potter in the last part of the movie, remember the one was cracking because he wasn't supposed to, you know, use it.
Right.
All right. And the moment that Harry Potter took it out of his hands, he was done because the right person had the wand now.
Mm-hmm.
The fact of the matter, folks, you know, look at me as Baltimore. If I don't have the right stuff, it means I don't have the right one on my hand.
That's right. It's going to crack.
It's going to crack. Okay.
So give him the right one.
Yeah,
so he
give
can
me the
do battle for
right
you.
stuff
Yeah.
so I can go fight for you.
Absolutely.
And I tell you, I will uncover every stone to make sure that you get your home.
Sure.
And that's what I do.
And don't be embarrassed about it because
I'm here for you.
Yeah, and to be honest,
side.
I bet you've heard and seen everything.
Oh, dude.
You've probably seen some ridiculous stuff, and you've probably made lemonade out of it.
I got a crazy one last week that I was not expecting, but it was very interesting.
Sure.
The fact of the matter, folks, is literally, I'm like an attorney. I'm on your side.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to uncover everything.
Yeah.
So don't do like when I go into shows like Suits and something like that, and you go to court and something just pop up out of nowhere, and now your attorney has to kind of scramble and try to make sure that you don't go to jail.
Yeah.
Okay?
And I imagine it happens more often in your office than a lawyer's office.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I get sucker punched left and right every damn day. It's like my wife says that I'm not a lender. I'm a fireman. All I do is put fires out every day.
There's something to be that.
You know, but at the same time, folks, I don't give up on you. Okay, I'll make sure that you still get your home.
Sure.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, when we go through the whole battle, when they're handing you the keys to your new home, or when you're in that day signing your life away on the closing paperwork, that's the victory. That's the day. That's the day we want to get you to. Sometimes it's a battle to get to that day. Sometimes it's easy.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when you get to that day, it makes it all worth it. And that's where Elliot's like, look, I just want to get you to that day. I want to get you that day when you're signing your life away, and the next thing you do, we hand you keys and we say, welcome to your new home.
Yes.
That's it, because we know if you do that, and then you're going to, when the next phase in your life happens, you get more kids, or the kids move, or whatever it is, then you're ready for your next home. Then you're going to call Elliot and say, you know what, it's time. And that's what, at the end of the day, that's all Elliot's trying to do is make you happy. So when it's time for your next phase in life, you call him back to help you navigate through that.
There's no bigger feeling for me when folks, and I try to go to every closing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you say like, what the heck does that mean? It means when you guys go to so I'm with you from the beginning that you give me a call, or somebody send you my way, or a real estate agent send you my way. I'm there with you all the way to the end, and even after the fact, I'm still available for you. So I don't disappear. Okay. When I was at West Fargo, we used to talk about signature for life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that stick to me. Okay, so I'm here for you forever. I get phone calls from people like the guy that called me just recently that he got laid off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you know how much that means to me that somebody's calling me even after the fact? And this is now he's telling me, hey, I need to buy another house. This is somebody calling me, telling me, hey, what do I need to do?
Sure.
And guess what? I tell him what he needs to do, and I'm actually looking for on his behalf to help him as well.
And you made his world great. Therefore, guess what?
He's going to come back to
when
me.
he needs your help again.
No matter
he's
what.
coming right to you.
So I'm trying to help him out. So
absolutely.
Listen to what I'm telling you. Do what I ask you to do, and trust me. If you do what I'm asking you to do, and I tell you you're pre-approved and you follow through, you'll get a house. Okay.
Now more than ever, in the craziest world and everything that's going on, the more you get to basics and handle your business, the better off you are. So please, as the world goes crazy, focus on you and your family.
Yep.
Pay your bills, taking care of this stuff. Don't overextend yourself. Just do, and I guarantee you're going to weather whatever craziness is going through and come out better on the other side.
I told a lot of people last year when the market, around April, when everything started getting crazy, when everybody started seeing all the rates going up, a lot of agents, and I'm talking about in the lending side, folks, okay? A lot of lenders, and what I mean is loan officers, okay? It started jumping board, okay? It's like, this is not the Titanic, okay? All right? I got that thing somebody was telling me. I'm not your iceberg, okay?
Iceberg,
I'm not your iceberg on your Titanic. No, this is not, you know, we need to talk one day because there's some stories that the Titanic never really sank. I don't know if you ever got to that.
All right, conspiracy theory day. All right,
but anyway, but folks, don't be afraid of what's happening out there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid of any of that stuff. If you're gonna buy a house, you're gonna buy a house. It doesn't matter what's happening in the market. We're just trying to get you the best deal possible and help you the best we can. Just be smart about it. Listen to what we have to tell you.
Find all your options. Listen to them.
Listen to your lender. Yeah. Okay, I mean, if your lender gives you a list of the things that you need, if you want to buy a house, why in God's name are you waiting 1 or 2 or 3 weeks to give your lender the stuff that they need to buy a house?
Well, and
that's just crazy.
It's a fluid market. So the numbers you get today may not be good a month from now. It's one of those things, and that's
very true.
Yeah, and so you have to be on top of that.
Let me give you an example, folks, and this is why this is important. I tell the customers, we pre-approve, we good. They literally went on the contract. All right, that's awesome, right? You know, not so much if I don't have all the stuff that I need to move the file forward.
Yeah.
So let me tell you something.
And it probably end up costing money at the end.
This is the part that's crazy. It was 6%. I'm talking about a week now today, and then a week after, I'm still waiting for all the items that I need to be able to move the file forward. That also means, and this is the worst part of it, guys. A lot of people say, "Oh, well, you don't like it." The fact of the matter is, if I don't have the stuff, I cannot verify that you just told me everything 100% correct.
Right.
So I can make a deal, put it in there, and then suddenly we don't have a deal because you didn't give me what I needed.
Exactly.
And because you didn't give me what I needed and you jumped the gun and made an offer on a home, okay, that's awesome, you know? I'm always playing cash up anyway, so it doesn't matter.
But now we're like...
But folks, I don't want to be doing that every day.
Sure.
Okay?
Well, and what happens if they're like, yeah, and next thing you know, you don't qualify for that anymore because
but if
the
I
numbers
if I don't have you pay stubs and you are... At least I need to have the pay stubs and your bank statements to see truly what you...
little stuff like that that screws things up sometimes.
And how simple is that?
It is.
Pay stubs and bank statements.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to know what I just said that I'm going to put in motion is true, okay? Because the worst thing that I say, you're making $5,000 and you're really only making $2,500, okay? Because you didn't tell me the facts, and then you went on the contract and you didn't give me what I needed. And here I am, kind of like basically playing catch up to make sure that you don't lose it. Thank God I don't give up on people, okay? Because I don't lose deals that way. But the fact of the matter is that makes it difficult. Okay?
Absolutely.
But if you guys, so if you don't let me, those programs, if I don't have this stuff, I cannot move it forward.
Yeah. You got to give them the tools to make the sandwich, basically. Without the ingredients, you can't do it.
And make sure that where you're renting and the places you work, they are actually help us, not fight us.
Absolutely.
Oh, employers around here, dude, for some crazy reason, they don't want to verify employment. They don't want it. They don't have the time. It's the craziest thing. I don't get it,
And one of it, I think part of it too is a trust factor. Like, why you need to, so I wonder if some people don't realize what's going on.
Yeah, like the poor employee is trying to buy a house.
Yeah,
dude.
I'm trying to help you buy a house. Help your guy out by giving the numbers so he can buy a house.
Seriously.
So he's not late work tomorrow.
Oh, it's the craziest thing ever. No, but yeah, just do what we tell you to do. Follow our lead, and we'll make sure you get a house.
Absolutely. Reach out to Elliot at Loan Depot if you have any questions. You're thinking now is the time, or hey, I heard what you're saying this morning. I'd like to, can you take a look and see where I'm at and see how close or how far I am from doing this? And Elliot be happy to sit down and talk to you about that stuff. Reach out. If you want to learn more about Elliot, you can go to his website. Again, he's through Loan Depot. So if you go to loandepot.com/Elliot Rodriguez, all one word, spell Elliot with one L and a Z at the end of Rodriguez. And you'll go right to his website where you can see all Elliot's history and talk about what he can offer and all that good stuff. If you have a question, you just want to email or email him, you can always shoot an email. It's Elliot Rodriguez, again, one L with the Z, all one word, at loandepot.com. Shoot an email and he'll get back to you. If you want to call him, call his cell. That's probably the best, quickest way because he's, he may be at the office, but he may not be. So just call him on the cell, 719-237-4680, 719-237-4680. You can always call the office at 505-445-2070. Leave a voicemail if you don't get live Elliot or
it's probably going to be that.
Yeah. So and then of course go look up Loan Depot. Just there and see the track record and the history of Loan Depot.
Yeah, I mean that speaks for itself.
And then you'll know exactly what Elliot's about and the company that he works for represents. So please reach out and really, Elliot really specializes in first-time home buyers, things like that. So if you're maybe you were told no by somebody else before, come talk to Elliot. Maybe Elliot say, I can see why they said no, but here's your game plan. Do this.
Well, you'd be surprised.
And in a few months, we can say yes.
A lot of times, they're actually qualifiable. You know? The fact is, maybe the lender didn't took their time to uncover everything.
Maybe they didn't think the juice was worth the squeeze. And so
and remember, sometimes if you do an application and you don't put all your information, the lender's kind of, a little handicap, if you may.
Absolutely.
Because they don't have all the details and the facts.
Can't make the soup without all the ingredients.
And I go farther. We'll have an interview and talk about what it's all about you and your family and what you're doing and what your expectations are and what you're trying to do. And you'll be surprised. I might uncover things that you didn't think you could use.
Absolutely.
And now you might be qualifiable. You'll be surprised. I do it all the time, so.
Let him work his magic. Let him do what he does best.
Let me be Harry Potter for a minute.
There you go. Get his Elder Wand out and do what he got to do.
He's the most powerful one in the world.
Very good. Well, Elliot, as always, appreciate the visit. We'll see you next time here, and enjoy the weather while we got it.
Thank you for having me.
So anytime. Yeah, it's good house hunting weather.
Oh, it's beautiful outside.
Yeah, beautiful.
Enjoy it. Okay?
Good time to go see the yard. Should be nice. The trees. You get a good look at the yards right now.
Yeah, I was even planting the other day. So,
yeah. Tis the season.
Yeah,
so,
it's the season.
Thank you, Elliot.
You're welcome.
All right, it is 9:59. Let's take a quick 1-minute break before they kick me off the radio. Don't go away.
A good night's sleep is so important, and issues like sleep apnea make falling asleep and staying asleep nearly impossible, but we can help. I'm Dr. Sarah Usher at Carabelli Dental. With the help of a simple oral appliance, your sleepless nights could be a thing of the past. But don't take my word for it, just ask Lainey.
My name is Lainey Smith. I wasn't surprised when I found out I had sleep apnea simply because I had a horrible sleep pattern. I attempted to use the machine and it drove me nuts and I could not sleep with it. And then that's when Dr. Agger told me about the oral appliance. I would suspect I've been using it for 2 years now. In all of that time, I've had less than 10 poor nights of sleep. It's a complete game changer. I feel a lot better because I sleep.
This simple appliance can change your life. Call us today to set up your appointment so you can finally get the good night's sleep you need.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental at the corner of 9th and Main in Roswell or call 575-622-4455.
Your home for Armed American Radio is 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.